Hello, Internet people. I'm Nick.
I'm Josiah.
We're friends.
We're playing Marvel Rivals.
We're friends and rivals. Dude, I can't. Okay, so that was our attempt at having some energy because neither one of us have any, and we're trying to force it. Did that sound natural, guys? Is that
that's our like TikTok like streamer ready intro.
The bot voice, the lady that's on
no
all
no
the shorts?
no
He doesn't know that.
Yeah, you know what? TikTok, maybe I'm too old to make a reference to how they do it in TikTok. I'm thinking YouTube influencer era where you get the face and all the like the shock. Everything is a shock. Everything is, I can't believe this is happening, guys. I've never seen a puppy in a ball pit kind of thing.
That's what we should have done.
I think that's kind of what I did. But yeah.
It was just weird. Well, hey, it's episode 31 and of Friends and Rivals, a Marvel Rivals podcast. What are we doing this episode?
I'll tell you what, we're recording a day late. And because of that, our episode where I had written a note saying lightest news week ever and had literally just made up some stuff to talk about got flipped on its head because freaking Dev Vision for season 4 came out today, the season 4 trailer. So we got a lot going on. We've got a ton of news covering all of that stuff. And then we are getting back to the matchmaking video for our main topic today in place of a hero spotlight. So this is starting the hype cycle for season 4 again. And then we'll have our Armed and Dangerous, of course, Reddit Takes of the Week and whatnot. And yeah.
Yeah, thanks for covering me there.
we'll make it. You got this, buddy. How you doing otherwise?
Oh, man. I could barely open my eyes or lift any part of my body this morning. We just spent 2 days packing everything I've ever foolishly bought in my life into 5 like shipping container pod things.
Yeah, this experience is gonna turn you into a minimalist because you're gonna be like, I'm never doing this again. Should I pack it in the box or just throw it in the dumpster right now?
I mean, well, okay, so at the end, I mean, we literally squeezed every centimeter. Why am I using metric system? Am I not American? Every inch out of this shipping container to get it into 5, so we didn't have to pay for a 6th one because like you paid based on how many you filled.
Right.
So we like unpacked bits of all of them to like shove one more box in a weird thing and like, if we take this one over to this one, we can, get one more thing in there. We got it exactly in 5.
Oh gosh.
Except for one lamp didn't make it. But we made the choice of like, okay, it's gonna be $800 more for another container. I think we can buy another $20 Walmart lamp.
Yeah. Oh man.
So it got down to that where we were playing the game of like, is this worth more than the shipping container? You know what I mean? Like so.
Yep.
Dude, it was a taste of where we were going because for some reason it was just super hot and like weirdly humid all of a sudden.
Yeah, my mom said that. She was I talked to her the other day and she was like, yeah, it's super humid over here. And I scoffed, but yeah.
No, it was like I walked outside and I was drenched immediately. Just
gross.
Drenched in sweat. So I went through like 4 shirts yesterday. It was a thing. It was an adventure. And
I'll tell you what, you'll be okay actually by the time you get here because summer has, unless we're getting just faked out, like the humidity has pretty much completely subsided and it's actually really nice weather right now. So you guys should come in at the perfect time heading into fall.
Yeah, I like 4 months ago when we thought we were moving a little bit later in the year, I promised my oldest leaves on the ground that he could jump in when we got there. Do you think that's likely?
I mean, that hasn't started yet, but I
got 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, right. I have no concept for how quickly that
That's
begins
fair.
because I've never experienced it. I
That's
mean,
fair.
it's
You
got
won't
to happen
hear.
soon. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got to happen soon.
Well, hopefully I'll have some leaves to rake for him when they get there, because I'm getting there a few days before they are.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyway, what's up with you?
I mean, not too much. We just I'm looking forward to hopefully some better work-life balance in the coming weeks as our just the insanity of the end of our financial year is over, and hopefully I can work normal days instead of what I've been doing. But unfortunately I have played very little Marvel Rivals this week, so I'm glad we got to play Armed and Dangerous today. And I did play a little bit. I played a few rounds today. To make sure that I was on top of my game for Magic.
Yeah.
but but no, nothing too crazy. Just kind of starting to get things in order for oh my gosh, actually something super freaking crazy. I don't know why I just my brain right now.
Like
My
woke
son
up.
started preschool.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So which is absolutely insane, like way too fast to have that happen already. But he did really good, and he likes it. You know, we just like with the move, we spent a long time hyping that up, and so we spent a long time hyping school up. Like it's going to be super fun. Like you're going to make new friends. You're going to get to play and do all kinds of cool stuff. And so yeah, he's a couple days in now and really enjoying it. And his birthday's tomorrow. Yeah, there's a he's going to be 4 years old.
Yeah, that's
I,
crazy. Well, and
yeah.
he was rocking the Dino t-shirt with the cardigan, so I'm sure he made plenty of friends.
Yeah. As soon as we dropped him off, his teacher was like, "That's a great sweater."
Yeah.
He always gets complimented on his sweaters. My wife does a good job with his fashion. He's a very fashionable boy.
Yeah, way more than me.
But yeah, I'm looking forward. He's got a ton of Monster Jam stuff. These like super cool play sets that he's going to get to open up tomorrow. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward
Nice.
to that. Yeah.
Well,
But
we've got it's a weekly segment now,
I know.
basically,
Thank you.
of a review. This is like week 3 or 4 in a row, and we still have a few. We're
Yep.
chugging along. So
Yes.
thank you again for all the reviews that are coming in. We got a 5-star here from Cap Main. I wonder what he
From the
plays.
United States of America.
Yeah. He says, "Great podcast." Smiley face. I'm a Captain America Lord, and I was wondering if you had any plans to do a hero spotlight on Captain America. His kit's one of the most balanced in the game. Is actually a good counter to Blade and dive characters. Another question is, what tactics do you use when playing a dive character?
Well, he's about to be a little less balanced because he's getting nerfed next season. But
Yeah,
but yeah, no, Cap is super cool. Thank you so much for the review. I've been wanting to play more Captain America. Like Cap is, I Venom is still like the tank that I want to learn the most, but I feel I feel so bad with him still. I feel a little bit better with Captain America recently, and I want to play him more. So I mean, yeah, I have more plans to do a Captain America spotlight than a Spider-Man or Iron Fist spotlight. I'll tell you that. But yeah, as far as like dive stuff goes, man, you know, we have our episode, of course, that that you could reference on some of the sub roll stuff. But I think the main thing for me is picking your battles very carefully and being extremely aware of your positioning. It comes back to the rubber band concept. Go ahead and check your bingo box, Nick.
I didn't. That hasn't come up in a long time. I didn't put it on there.
Yeah, okay. All right, all right. We're like, if you're diving and you're going in, you better know where your strategists are, where the rest of your front line is, because what I often see dive characters fail with is being too aggressive, pushing too hard, going in too deep, and they can't get supported or healed. by the rest of their team. So, I mean, that's just a little bit. There's obviously a lot more, but yeah,
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, but the thing I'm always thinking like is don't overcommit because
yeah,
that's how you get killed on dive is just
yeah.
tunnel vision. And it's weird. It's like when I started playing a bunch of Psylocke, I started focusing on that a lot.
Hmm.
That was like right around when I found Death and Gaming's channel, and he has a lot of Psylocke gameplay on it, but he's talking about like more like broad, like just Rivals hero shooter in general, like gameplay tips.
Hmm.
But his big thing a lot was just about like yeah, how to be very careful with not dying and wasting like yourself as a resource for your team by not being there for a while. And as I started to just try to like everything wasn't about can I kill that person? It was just can I add a little bit of damage to whoever they're fighting and then make sure I'm staying, above half health at all like,
Yeah,
get out when I get low.
right.
Um the games that I actually do that, you feel way better.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
100%.
so I think weirdly enough, one of the things I'm trying to do when I'm playing a dive character now is like not think of it with the term dive because the dive term makes it sound like you're just
Yeah,
like
you're all
YOLO
in,
and like
full
just going all
commitment.
in all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more that you have the ability to make targeted dives in when like the opportunity arises.
Right,
And
right,
yeah, I used to spend like 100% of the time like trying to get behind the enemy team, and then I would get back there and they'd all turn around and kill me, and it was like, well,
right.
what was the point of that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting when I re fell in love with Magic and I was watching the like number one Magic player in the world. His gameplay was way slower than you would expect. Like
Right.
he would sit around for a long time waiting for the right opportunity. Like he was not just constantly in a fight. And if he would whiff something that he felt he like needed to land, he would just get out. He would just like
Yeah.
abandon the fight. He would not get another hit off. He would just portal out and leave. So you have to like retreat is a tactical decision. It's not like, oh man, I'm getting like beat down and I'm a loser, so I should just seppuku here and now with the enemy team. Like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
no,
one of the
no.
things that was one of the things that I weirdly learned from Snap. Like
Hmm.
the way that Snap worked, you could ante up like how many rank points you were winning or losing. Basically, like that's what the snapping was. Like you would hit a button sometime in the game and basically say we're doubling the amount of points that this game is for, and the other person could do it too. So you could play for 8 ranked points, or you could play for one, depending on how it worked out, right? Um, and what it meant was that like they didn't call it surrendering if you just left mid game. They called it retreating. And a lot of games wouldn't get to the end of it because when you got to the end, it doubled as well. So like if you were in a spot where you knew you were losing, you would get out and lose less points and then try to win more on the next game. And that was like literally how the ranked system worked rather than
Oh,
just
interesting.
being about if you win or lose individual games. It was about how well you were kind of betting alongside of it. And that has weirdly stuck with me for playing dive characters and just playing characters in general in Rivals is like it is not a loss to get out. Like it's part of the game to try to not die and keep moving. So
Right, right. That's cool. Well,
anyway,
we should probably get into the news because my
yeah,
goodness, is there a lot of it.
yep,
All right, so chronologically, we have a new patch coming on the 4th, which this episode will already be out, and it's bringing with it primarily the new penny skin, the Wasteland mech, which is super cool. I really like the. I said when it was revealed that like has nothing to do with the season, as her skins never do, but it is super cool. And I thought that her MVP animation was really fun. There's the throwing up rainbows meme tied in there, which is pretty hilarious. And
this
yeah,
this is probably one of the skins in the game that feels most like it was devised by marketing. Like
hmm,
between the puking rainbows thing, the like clear Borderlands like mech style like
yeah,
reference, and then them just throwing cat ears on her helmet for some
I know,
reason,
right?
even though it has nothing to do with anything else that's going on. Like
Yeah,
this just feels the most like what do people like? Let's just oh yeah, let's do that. Oh, and we'll throw that in there. Oh, and we can do
right,
that.
right. Yeah, yeah. It's like gamerified. Uh, like you would see this character being played in a video game that's portrayed in a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's yeah, but it's cool. I like it.
Yeah,
I
I
like.
like it.
I know it sounds like we're throwing shade, but I think we both think it's pretty cool. And then there's one fix. They patched up a batch of pesky map bugs that could trap, squish, or send heroes tumbling into weird places. So
Pesky map bugs.
those freaking pesky map bugs. I do not like getting trapped, squished, or sent into weird places. So I'm glad that that will apparently happen less. But now that that's out of the way, season 4 hype train, choo choo, all aboard because man, this is right around the corner. It's still so hard to believe that like this isn't early. This is just what we do now in the Marvel Rivals world. My freaking goodness. I watched the trailer 3 times when it first dropped. The third time I had to show I showed my wife. I was like, I know you don't like care about this game at all, but you've got to watch this trailer just to see like how absolutely hype it is. Like they are so good with their art direction and editing and directing of these season trailers. Like this is absolutely the best one so far in my opinion. Like it last one's was super hype, but this one, I mean all the way through, every piece of dialogue, like every interaction, all the action was so like high octane, just cool. Hearing Daredevil scream like let the devil out as he does some crazy like supernatural thing, which I'm guessing that's going to be part of his thing, since in his lore here he's not just a lawyer throwing hands with gods. He's got something going on.
There's some
And
sort
then
of dragon thing connected to this
yeah.
season.
hmm And then Angela's submit as she throws that beam down. I hope both of those are their respective alt voice lines, because that would go so hard. Also, Daredevil's voice is just super cool. I didn't look up who the voice actor is yet, but
Yeah, I haven't
I
seen it
love
yet.
his low, kind of like apathetic gravel. It's really scratches an itch.
Alerting the guards.
Yeah. David Hayter adjacent. Um, but yeah, it scratches an itch in my brain, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to talk too much about the trailer because there's
I
so much
know,
to talk about.
I know,
But
I know.
the even just the color schemes with the yellow and like the purple for Daredevil's a
hmm
cool angle on it. Like he's
Yeah,
normally, super red, but this is like a burgundy kind of thing going on. But it makes that dragon and the like lion thing, whatever it's not a lion, it's like a panther thing that
yeah,
she
yeah,
has.
yeah. Some sort of feline.
Those things are super cool.
Yeah, I also, I mean, just a cool thing that we'll definitely need to keep paying close attention to. I this season was the most, like this season 3 was the most explicit, with just basically straight up like they didn't say Daredevil or Angela in the lore, but they referenced both of them like heavily. So
Yeah.
they like, if you were digging in, like we talked about, I talked about this when we did the season 3 the battle chest reveal. I was like, that card that has Daredevil and Hela in it, like it references both of them. So that's cool. So I mean, I don't know if they'll keep that up. Like, there's no way to know, but you better believe all the lore junkies are going to be combing through all the new
Yeah.
comic pages and stuff now for
Well,
sure.
they've always referenced one, right? But the second half of the season hero has always been
Yeah.
like more of a mystery. So I
Yeah.
I think it was cool that we got both of them this time, especially as the seasons are shorter. Like just
Right.
Keep pumping us full of information. I'm ready.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that dev vision though, I mean, we're back to the full, what was it? 15, 14 minutes? 16, 17 minutes. I don't remember. It was a long one though. And my goodness, this is watching it felt like extremely hype, more so than I think it usually does. And I mean, the comments and stuff all over the place are saying the same thing, that like this is, oh man, this is going to be a good season. People are really excited about just what's coming, the balance changes, freaking placement matches, not this season, but it is coming at some point. Like, just getting that feedback from the devs is always so good. Like, we've said it so many times, but like these guys are just, they're just on another level. Like their transparency, their clear, their clear willingness to take feedback seriously and implement change quickly is so respectable. It makes playing this game, even though like I hate ranked right now, even though I have a really negative relationship with a pretty core aspect of the game, I still am very hyped about the game, just because I know I trust them, and they keep proving that we can. And we're gonna, I mean, just this whole episode, whether we agree with some of the things they do or not, as we get into matchmaking later, you know, it is what it is. But I just, there's so much to respect about the way they do these videos and stuff. So let's jump into the content.
Let's dive through. So they start by kind of just talking more generally about the season, so we can kind of follow suit. So if you weren't paying attention the last 5 minutes while we were talking, we're getting Angela in the first half of season 4. She's going to be a vanguard.
Yes.
She can create various weapons basically out of herself. When my wife saw her, she said, "Do you think she runs into the top of doorways all the time?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "She's tall." She's talking about the wing hat. Her wing hat thing is super tall.
Is she a big lady? We getting lots of Resident Evil Lady Dimitrescu sort of vibes with our Lady Vanguards, and I'm all for it.
But then I thought it was just flavor in the trailer at first, and then they started talking in every description they had of her coming down from the skies, descending on enemies, flying Vanguard.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, they straight up say when they show her splash screen, Guangguan says that Angela can take the fight to the skies.
I know.
That's like, yeah.
I didn't believe it for a long time. Like, I kept thinking like, yeah, like Doctor Strange can. Okay. But there's the only glimpse of her we see in game in this entire thing is like 5 frames in the middle of them showing off her team up with Thor. She's like off in the corner, and she is floating above the ground. So I mean, she's really close to the ground, but they all can be if you bring them all the way down. So I think we got true flying going on here, and that means we are now 1 away from the true all fly comp. We're at Angela, Storm, Human Torch, Iron Man, Ultron. And right now you got to fill with Doctor Strange, Iron Fist, or Phoenix, who are all the ones that can kind of fly.
What a perfect season to bring in the themes of hell when it comes to another flyer closer to all flight comp.
But if they can give us a true lifeline strategist that flies, then we can have a season where there's a map that just doesn't have ground, and you just have 6 people fighting in the air. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. I actually like. Thankfully, I actually think it would probably be bad to run with 6 flyers. It would still be freaking annoying, but yeah, 0-point presence. Yeah, which makes me wonder if that is true of her. Like, I wonder if she's going to be a bit squishier. I wonder if she's going to be kind of that like multi-class-ish, almost like kind of dualisty rather than like true anchor.
But they're incentivizing you with the team up that we'll talk about a little bit later to run her with Thor, who also isn't like isn't a shield vanguard or any like main anchor, right? So if she, by nature of being flying, kind of has to be less anchory, you might be being pushed into a really like dive brawl comp kind of like just heavy aggression, hope you don't die very
Yeah.
quickly kind of thing, which could be really fun. Unless you're a strategist main again. Sorry.
Right. Right.
Basically,
Right.
nothing is fun if you're a strategist main because everyone's always trying to kill you, no matter what. No matter whether it's dive or poker or brawl, everyone's trying to angle at the strategist. But
Yeah.
they do mention a couple things about what her abilities will be, but we haven't gotten, at least at the time of recording, we haven't gotten the actual trailer for
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
abilities yet. But they mention she has a spear throw,
Hmm.
a spear dive,
Hmm.
a shield block, and then something with double axes that they were saying like we're kind of protecting your allies and doing damage as well. But it was all very vague, like flavor kind of descriptions of the abilities.
Right. Right. But that's a really cool concept. I like the arms master, weapon
Yeah.
master vibe. I think that's going to be super cool. And I like this feels weird to say because I know they're not intentionally going to make certain characters in certain roles like less cool, but we need freaking cool vanguards.
We
We
do. Yeah.
need people to want to play vanguards. That's just we're all aware of the situation the community's been in with so much solo tank because people feel bad about it. Um, but
Well, and just, to tease us a little bit more about
oh
what's
yeah,
coming in
yeah.
this rest of this topic, like I am very pumped to play Angela, Thor, and Doctor Strange this
Oh
season.
yeah.
So there's
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of tank coming around that I'm
Yep.
I'm ready for.
Yep.
Um,
Definitely true. Well, the next thing in the dev vision is the arcade playlist, which is
well, we
is
didn't even mention Daredevil is
oh
4.5, and
oh
then
yeah
there's a
yeah yeah
new
right right
Convergence map, Heart of
oh
Heaven,
yeah
that's going to
yeah
be in Finland.
hmm
We don't know anything about it other than it's there and it's a convergence map. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
which good, that's my favorite, and I'm glad we're getting more of that, and I'm all for the like Chinese monastery, secret, snowy mountaintop vibes that are the Kunlun vibes.
yeah.
I think that's going to be a gorgeous map to play through. And then yeah, Daredevil, obviously. That it's I'm certainly very interested in what direction they go with him. I loved one of the top comments on the YouTube video was I'm going to turn off my monitor while playing Daredevil for maximum immersion. um, but like they're clearly going with something supernatural with him, and then he also has they in the final frame he of the trailer he's wielding the I looked up what it is. It's the I'm not gonna pronounce it right. I know the Manriki Gasari, which
Okay.
is like the super long chain with kind of like nunchuck looking things, but they're usually like heavy, like you whip it and hit people with them. And so
Okay.
I'm very interested to see if his play style ends up being kind of like mid-rangey rather than close range, what we usually see with Daredevil, which is just fists. So
Well, and this answers kind of something that we had talked about a long time ago. I think it was when the thing came out. It was like episode 4 or something, where
yeah,
we were kind of before the thing came out. We were wondering what are they going to do with the large amount of characters that are just kind of melee martial arts
yeah,
like brawlers.
yep,
Um, and they did a really good job with making the thing feel very different than the Hulk.
hmm
But we were kind of wondering, like going forward, how many of these characters can they do like this? And Daredevil would kind of fall into a similar category. There's some stuff you can do with his like echolocation kind of thing, um, but he is beating people up in close range. And this is really cool that we've seen that now. There's another option they have, which is to use Rival's internal story to take a character and give
hmm
them a twist that
yeah,
they don't normally have. And so you don't get like straight out of the comics Daredevil, you get Daredevil who also is specifically got this
yeah.
mystical thing
This
going
one,
on.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super super cool, and I'm kind of hoping that they go somewhere really weird with him. I'm kind of hoping that they do something crazy with like his vision. I hope that that gets tied in into some weird way. I'm just wondering, like, obviously it's not going to be where you can't see, but like, I hope that they do actually add some sort of like visual dynamic to playing
Yeah.
Daredevil
Yeah.
that is different than playing the other heroes. I think that'd be super, super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying, there's there's the new arcade mode coming, which is so cool. We get Conquest, Doom Match, Giant Size Brain Blast, Clone Rumble, and then a new version of Conquest that they're calling Annihilation. That is just like straight up deathmatchy sort of stuff. Awesome. Like,
And there's a new mode, free fight or free
oh
flight. I
yeah,
don't remember
right.
which one they were talking about.
Free fight,
Which
yeah.
is just going to be playing regular rivals, except without hero restrictions. So you could have
Yeah.
6 Lunas if you want. You could, do whatever you want. So that might have to be something we do for Armed and Dangerous next season. Is
Yes. Oh,
do like
yes.
do what we're doing, but no hero restrictions. That could be pretty fun.
Absolutely. Oh, we got to do all of this, right? We got to do
That's
giant
true.
size brain blast with armed and dangerous, and that like picking characters of like, okay, all right, when Widow and Hawkeye come up, they getting locked in.
Yeah, we got to do that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so thank you. That's adding a lot to our our podcast, making it more interesting. But yeah, super cool. I love that they're doing that, and I hope. I mean, what this tells me is that when they do events, they're going to be coming up with new stuff, which is super cool. There hasn't been an event in a decent bit. The last one was it was the giant size brain blast was the last one. No. Ultron's battle matrix. That's right.
And then I think that team was probably working on Resource Rumble. Is my feeling, or they're working on getting their arcade mode thing worked up. But this seems like more of a matchmaking thing than content. So,
but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens in the future. I hope we do get more, unique game modes for events and things like that. But
yeah,
season 4, who knows? They didn't talk
about it. Now it's more likely that they're going to be permanent when they do come in, or at least come back in a permanent form, which is really cool. I like that.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so we're jumping kind of all over. Where do we want to just talk about the rest of the like random updates before we get into hero team ups and balance and stuff?
Yeah. I guess I'm just kind of I felt like just following the dev visions.
Yeah, you're going by the video. I'm going by my notes, and they're all over the place in different directions. So, here's some of the other things that are coming generally to season 4. The first one I'm super excited about is strike squads. So basically they acknowledge that the hero select wheel is getting a lot bigger.
Yes,
which we've talked about a few times.
Yeah.
So they're doing a solution where you can now basically like favorite heroes that you play a lot or just want easy access to. And then there's going to be a tab like how you have for the different roles on the wheel. There's going to be a tab for just those heroes. So I would imagine you can figure out the order of these so that you get your main in exactly the spot you want. And you can use our old aim trainer and two tap to exactly who you're looking for.
Yeah.
But that's pretty nice. My request for 4.5 then, since basically this patch, they just did everything that everyone was asking for recently. I'll just throw it out there then. Can we then add an option to let you rotate your spotlight heroes in the lobby to be a random one from your strike squad? Because that would be cool. If you're just like flagging all your mains and then your lobby character background could be like swap between them, that would be cool.
Also, I want to see like in Overwatch, I want to see my team's heroes. I want when the teams pick a hero, I want to see everybody stand together. I just that's
before the end credits.
Yeah. That's a cool vibe. But yeah, the next thing, thanks to yours truly, obviously, as we discussed this as a wish list thing, and the Guan Guan, who is famously a binger of our show here, they're adding the ultimate VFX things to everybody, so you get to see them now unless you don't want to. So we were wondering, when we were speculating about how they could do this, we were wondering, would they opt you in by default and give you an option to opt out, or would they opt you out by default and give you a chance to opt in? So they're opting you in. So when this update goes live, you will be able to see other people's ultimate VFX stuff, but if you don't want to, you can get out of that. So heck yeah, I already bought Luna's Luna's ultimate VFX. As soon as I saw this, I logged into Marvel Rivals and got it with my unstable molecules. So I'm much more excited about this now.
I'm using the Psylocke bubble one, and I'm excited for other people to be able to see it now too, because it's very fun.
It is very fun.
Let's see. Well, you know what? Speaking of Psylocke, next let's talk summer skins.
Yeah.
So they had said that there was a second batch coming at some point, and boy, did they make like me in college and wait till the last minute, because 4 days before summer is technically over, on September 18th, they've got summer skins coming in a second batch. So this one is Josiah's Punisher skin he's been waiting for.
Yes.
An Invisible Woman one that looks like her 90s look, basically, but swimsuitified. Mantis, which looks pretty cool. It's very like human looking Mantis.
Yeah.
And then Human Torch, and to everyone's surprise, the Thing gets a second summer skin. He's had like 4 skins in the last season now. Between this, the other summer one, the symbiote. There's something else that came out recently too for him. Oh, the Future Foundation one wasn't too long ago.
Yeah.
It was like the end of season 2. So
yeah, he's a surprising character to get a lot of skins. Like, I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah. I wonder if it was just because his first 3 skins look absolutely the same on the Hero Select screen.
Yeah.
They were just like, we got to make him look interesting. Pump out all Thing skins.
I know.
He's also a pretty blank canvas. He's just like a big orange thing to decorate.
Yeah. And I do like this one a lot. I love the bandana and the Hawaiian shirt and shorts and stuff. He's looking very, very like dadified.
I was gonna go with like the end of a Fast and the Furious movie, but yeah, like
oh yeah.
It's got kind of the like they're hiding on the beach now.
Right.
So we don't know how these skins are coming. Hopefully they'll give us the roadmap in the next couple days, and we'll be able to tell. I would imagine, since we have 5 again, that there's going to be some sort of, and because money, that there's going to be some sort of mini battle pass for 3 of them, and then the other 2 will come in the shop together. Yeah. If I had to guess, then I would imagine Human Torch and the Thing might come together as a shop bundle, since they're related characters, and then you would get Mantis, Punisher, and Invisible Woman as the
which one do they give for free is the question.
I don't know. Can they do it? Can they give the Punisher for free? I feel like he has to be the thing to get you to spend money, right?
Yeah. But
maybe Mantis is free.
Either way, they're going to be making plenty more money. If the Malice butt wasn't enough for you, I mean, you've got even more to go with now. So you're if you're buying the skins for that reason, you're eating good this summer, I guess. But we also are getting more accessories, and they're all super cute. We're getting ones for Cloak and Dagger, ones for Luna Snow. We get Scarlet Witch and Magneto. Am I missing?
No,
am I missing one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I love the little nine-tailed ice fox for Luna. I think that's probably going to be the next one that I go for.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the previews and see like where these end up on the characters. But I would imagine the Cloak and Dagger ones are like the swap, right? Because you have cloak and dagger as these. So I'd imagine like
Hmm.
when you're cloak, you have dagger, and then when you're dagger, you have cloak. So that's kind of cool.
Two accessories in one.
Yeah, and then Polaris is a really cool one for them to give for Magneto. She's Magneto's daughter in the comics, and
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get what either Magneto or Scarlet Witch's references were.
the Scarlet Witch one is Quicksilver, which is her twin brother.
Oh, duh. He's the Sonic legs. I was like,
Yeah.
what is this dude? What is this dude like skating on a Static Shock like manhole cover? For some reason, I was not seeing.
No,
I was not seeing
they're
that.
keeping up the family theme for both Magneto and Scarlet Witch, and giving other relatives from that little family. So
Also,
it's kinda cool.
Polaris literally has the Scarlet Witch helmet. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just always been part of the outfit.
Huh. Okay. All right. Cool.
I'm not sure. There's probably, I mean, no, we already did a Scarlet Witch uh, hero spotlight. Whenever Polaris gets out of the game and we do a Polaris spotlight, I'll
Yeah.
research that.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope that they do bring Quicksilver. I would love to see what a speedster looks like in a video game. Like I have never seen it in any video game
yeah,
ever to have like a gotta go fast boy other than Sonic the Hedgehog, I guess.
I think City of Heroes
Hmm.
had or whatever. No, Champions Online was the free to play one we
Champions
played.
Online, dude. That was actually so much fun.
I think that one had a speedster, but like
All
I
right,
don't
I'm
know what you
downloading
did
now.
really other than just running slightly faster between things, and I think you just punched really fast, so you just were kind of a melee character.
Oh my
But
gosh.
there are so many things that they're mentioning here, and we're gonna have details next week on things too that we don't have details on now. So let me just kind of speed run the rest of the
Yeah,
generic
go for it.
updates. Um, so we also have chat box customization coming sometime in the middle of season 4.
Yeah.
Basically, they're gonna let you color your chat text, add emotes to the middle of your chat text. I think you can set a color that like is your default color when you chat. So that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
The chat box and like communication systems are creeping towards the inevitable like full MMO system. Uh, you know what I'm talking about? Like MMO chat boxes are like these huge, fully featured things where you can like copy and paste things in, and there's like codes that'll
Oh,
ping
yeah.
armor or whatever. Like they're
Yeah.
slowly getting there. Like they started with the Call of Duty chat, and they're inching their way towards
Right.
the full on
Let me
MMO thing.
let me create a chat macro so I can spam the entire cat like like the
You want me to
like
give you one?
I'm
I don't
sure
want to get banned for using it, but
yeah. Like what is that? That like type of art has a name, the like dash art or
the
whatever.
ASCII art, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm
Um,
excited to have emojis as part of it, be able to like
yes,
link them in a sentence. I keep wanting to do that, but you like currently you have to end your sentence and then post an emoji.
right. Yeah, that makes them a lot more useful if you can use them in chat. Hopefully the like shortcuts to do them are easy enough that like you don't have to like actually use the drop down every time.
Yeah.
But then let's see, what haven't we covered here? Guan Guan said the words aura farming, and he meant it.
Yeah.
Uh,
We can
they,
walk, people.
they're adding a walk feature to PC because currently console players are the only ones who can walk towards you menacingly, slowly, um, because they have sticks. But we have, WASD, and now we're
Yeah.
gonna get a walk key, so that's pretty cool. The college program, the skins are updating, so they're doing the
Yeah.
college perks again. And so if you were doing that, you're going to lose access to the 10 skins that you had last season, but you're going to get new ones this season, including some highlights like Josiah's favorite Penny Parker skin,
Yeah.
the Spider Punk, the Luna. Gosh, I should have written down all the names of these. President Loki,
Pop star. Yeah, whatever.
Popstar Luna, Magic's like Dark Souls skin. There's 10 of them. They're cool.
There's a lot.
It's a bunch
Yeah.
of newer ones. So
I'm gonna go back into tens of thousands of dollars of debt just so that I can play as President Loki. So
yeah.
worth it.
Um, and then Gallery is getting an update. So
Yeah.
they're going to have HD versions that you can look at and download. So basically, there's in-game wallpapers now. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I love that.
And then Ignite finals are going to happen sometime during season 4 and 4.5. So
Mhm.
we'll keep an eye on that and give you schedules for when things start happening. Um, and then there's this beautiful picture at the end. Gongon's like, "Wait, one more thing," and brings it back after the credits, and just
Yeah.
holds up a PS4 and says, "You can play Rivals on PS4 coming soon."
Uh,
And
cool.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
I, I, I-
I
you
doubt you can
know,
play it well, but
yeah. Is it
you
going to be
know,
like 30 FPS? I'm scared.
yeah.
That's very interesting. He is holding up. I'm pretty sure a base model PS4 though. Like it's not a PS4 Pro or
Mhm.
anything. So, um, what an interesting thing to do. Like again, here we are. Check it off your bingo. I've never seen anybody. I've never seen anybody do anything like this. Like after a game has been released, go back a generation and release it again. Like how odd.
Yeah.
What I wonder is I wonder if there's like a larger PlayStation 4 player base in China. Like I wonder if that is like sort of an incentive because I
I don't
don't
know.
know. I guess I'm disconnected from the PlayStation 4 scene, I suppose. I didn't think that that was still like going.
Yeah, we switched to PC and then we forgot PlayStation 4 is out there.
Yeah.
But Guan didn't. So, but the community has already taken this image and
Yeah.
done some
Yes.
great things with it. So I saw a Reddit post that it was a Hulk main saying like, "Get ready for the Hulk perma bans" because of some team ups that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
they changed the PS4 into him just holding the ban for Bruce Banner. And then this one was the great one. It's the thing in the pool where they're holding up one kid and the other kid's drowning. He's holding up the PS4 and the Xbox One is drowning, and then the skeleton in the chair at the bottom of the ocean is the Nintendo Switch.
Dang.
Uh,
Dang. Messed up. Messed up, but good.
but there's
Well, oh
one
yeah.
more general update, and that's placement matches coming
Yeah,
soon.
man.
TM.
I can't like I I wasn't I wasn't even like I was excited about a lot of things. I didn't have like a hype reaction to this. I had like a 100-pound bag just like roll off of my back as I like collapsed on the ground by the stream of cool water. Just the feeling of like relief of oh dear God, there is an end to my suffering.
I wanted to send you when I saw this. I wanted to send you like that still image of Thanos sitting by his hut, just like overlooking the
Yeah.
glade, and then just say like Josiah, you can rest now.
I know, I know. I swear, if they bring placement matches and somehow I'm having an even worse time, then I don't know what I'll do.
You'll admit
But
that it's
no.
you.
I guess
I'm
I'll admit
kidding.
that it's me.
I'm
But
kidding.
I
I'll have to admit that it's me too.
yeah, yeah. No, I feel pretty you know what's funny? The armed and dangerous matches, if anything, make me reinforced that it's not me. That it's not us. I'm like, if I can go toe to toe with some plats and diamonds and come out okay, like I am not bronze.
I mean, you come out MVP on your team every week. Like you're not just coming out okay.
Yeah, yeah,
You did
yeah.
it this week too, right? I
Well,
think you did.
no, you know,
I was
I
watching it. You had it for a
I
long
swore
time.
I was gonna stop doing this. I had it the whole freaking game, and then at the end, our congratulations to our cloak and dagger. Thank you for all the wonderful
Oh,
heals
nice.
and damage. Yeah, cloak and dagger snuffed it from me at the very end there,
Well, then
but
I'm
yeah.
sorry for the slander. Uh, but yeah, I was watching you during the game and I saw you had it because we were doing our little. We'll
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
armed and dangerous
yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Balance.
balance. Yeah. So we've got team ups and then we've got the little tease they do about balance. We're gonna have to see what we do next week because we're doing a lot of the hype week this week.
I know, right?
Maybe we could actually talk about the balance next week before the season actually comes out instead of a week
Yeah,
later. I don't know.
yeah,
We'll have
that'd
to
be
see.
cool.
Um, yeah, well, I'll just start by talking about they're removing one team up,
Hmm.
which is the Magic Black Panther dimensional shortcut. And well, I'm gonna go a little out of order here from what I put in the notes, but before you strategist mains get all excited that Black Panther's getting kicked, and he
Yeah.
is getting nerfed as well. Um, they're moving Black Panther to the Gamma Bros with Hulk and Namor, and the brilliant thing they decided to give Black Panther, who's already obnoxious and hard to kill, is a passive that the first time you get him below 100 health, when you finally feel like maybe there's a chance, maybe I'll live this time. Well, he's just gonna get a gamma shield out of nowhere, and it's on a 45-second cooldown. So pretty much once a life for Black Panther. You just can't kill him for 3 seconds after he gets below 100 health, which is conveniently the amount of time it takes him to kill 3 people.
Right, right. Yeah, this is insane. This is like you thought that Wolverine getting the Phoenix team up was bad. Like this just takes it to a whole nother level. Also, I mean, props to their creativity though of giving a character a team up that just like one of the bonuses is that the anchor gets immediately banned. Like that's cool. That's a cool mechanic. So essentially the as Nick teased in his meme of Guan Guan holding up banned Hulk. Hulk will never be played, so it's time for you to find a new main because Hulk is already really good,
And
and
he's already banned a bunch because of the Namor team up. Like,
yeah. So now you're taking two of the two. I mean, well, I guess statistically Namor isn't one of the nastiest, but you are taking arguably the most hated character in the game, making him more powerful and pairing him up with yeah. This is so interesting though because Namor is like one of Black Panther's counters, and now they're like on a team up together. It's yeah.
so before you rage uninstall the game, um, they are saying in the balance teas that they are
Yeah,
taking down Black Panther's survivability specifically.
right.
What's confusing to me is then if you get the
Yeah.
Hulk in the game, like it's going to be way better than it's ever been, at least
Yeah.
once, right? But if he's actually killable, and it's not them removing health because you can see in the team up, unless they recorded at a different time or whatever. But I don't think taking health away from Black Panther would really change his survivability much. It's about not
Yeah.
being able to hit him. So I don't know if they're gonna make him like dash slower or something. Like what are they gonna do to get rid of his survivability? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that is a good question. But well,
But
I
the
mean,
game
we'll find
relies
out.
on it actually being a good nerf because this is ridiculous.
But the
Um,
other side of this team up
yes.
is, of course, Magic gets kicked out of Dimensional Shortcut. But this is also crazy, but of course, I'm excited about it. We both are because Magic, she joins Arcane Order with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and gets an insane ability to lock down and CC people together. So think of Mr. Fantastic's grab and slam ability that like slows people down and smacks them together. Magic is getting kind of a similar thing where she throws a chain out and it hits two people, pulls them together, and then slows them the farther away that they walk.
Well, we don't know that it's only two. They show
Oh
they only
my
show
gosh.
two. What
You're
they show though
you're
is that you
right.
you hit you hit a primary target with a skill shot. It's a skill shot, but I don't know if it's hit scan or if it's a projectile or whatever. But
It's
you
got to be
hit
a
the first
projectile.
person directly with the hit, and then it chains whoever's nearby. So
Oh
there's some
my
sort of range
freaking
defined.
goodness.
They only showed
I
two.
didn't
Yeah.
think that it could be more than two.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't know that for sure because they only show two in the trailer. But it just says that it reaches out to nearby enemies and pulls them in. And then based on like the further away they were from each other, the worse the slow is. So they
Yeah.
like or the better the slow is, I guess, for you. So it's kind of got Hella's team up with Venom going on too, where
Uh-huh.
like pulls people together and then makes it hard for them to leave. And you're not hella. Like you're not trying to hit
Yeah.
shots on people who are walking around. You're just diving in there and
Right.
holding left click and like
Yeah,
hitting all
yeah.
of them.
Right. All of your attacks have cleave damage or have AoE spell effect damage. Like this is so nuts. Oh my gosh, though. Can you imagine just throwing it into a death ball and chaining an
I know.
entire team together? Like
Yeah,
what?
maybe it can all be two. I don't know, but
Well,
it's
the
also
thing
on a
is,
30-second cooldown, which is not terrible.
not being able to get people like not being able to run away, if you grab people together and you're like you throw a demon out, like, oh my gosh, not being able to get away from that is just gonna kill squishies so
Seriously.
quickly.
I mean, you could, yeah, throw this out and portal towards them and do the demon, and like
Yeah,
it hits them at the same time. You could throw this out, dash, and like just start left clicking, doing the
right.
combo, but someone else is there taking splash damage the whole time. Like,
Yep.
yeah, there's all sorts of stuff for this.
There's a lot. And then on top of that, Doctor Strange is getting a buff specifically, they say, to his offensive capabilities. So I mean, I'm so excited about both of these because
Yeah.
I'd love to go back to Doctor Strange and play him more too. Like, oh man, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Gamma
My-
Bros are absolutely cursed, but the Arcane Order is where it's at this season for sure.
Yeah, my only worry with this is we were talking about this last season. We talk about this every season with Magic. Is like she's perfect how she is,
I
and I
know.
always want something new like this to play with. But I'm always like they can't do it because then they'll have to nerf
Yeah.
her. So she's losing the team up anchor, and normally they just kind of even that out and make it not really mean anything. I'm a
Yeah,
little
maybe
bit
they
worried that
won't.
maybe her damage will be down a little bit or whatever. But if they don't, then what I'm worried about is that halfway through the season, they're going to be like, yeah, shoot, this is busted, and we're going to get massive magic nerfs for the first time. And I don't want that.
No, I know. Yeah, I hope
But for
not.
4 weeks, we will feast.
Oh yeah, no question. Well, speaking of feasting, we're getting our freaking very first dual Vanguard team up, which is right. Is you
Thor
shake
cap.
you juggle your head. Dang it! We're getting our one and only dual Vanguard team up currently. Dang, I
That needs to be on
forgot
the
about
big one.
Thor Cap.
You just love going straight for the like. This is the only time this has ever happened.
Yeah, except I'm right like 90% of the time because they
Sure.
keep doing these things. Um, so yeah, given the dual Vanguard team up with Thor and Angela, which is awesome. Nick was talking about this. Thor gets a spear that he throws that does damage. If he hits a target with it, he gets Thor force and he leaps to the enemy. And then the impact of him leaping to the enemy does another wave of damage. My goodness, like Thor is going to be able to jump freaking absolutely everywhere. I was already like, I don't even play Thor very much, but I mean honestly, I haven't played him at all in the last 2 seasons, I don't think. But I was already thinking of like some wombo combos to pull off here. Like this is gonna have some really gross bursty potential, I think.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, I saw the dev vision, and I went, okay, I'm gonna go play Thor and get ready because this looks pretty fun, and there's gonna be Angelas all over the place, right? And I had a really good couple Thor games like today, which is the first time I can say that in a very long time. But
Yeah, I mean,
his playstyle really has changed with all the changes that they're making to him, and it has really fit into this huge aggressive like bully kind of thing going on. And this is just going to fit right into that perfectly. I'm really excited about this.
yeah, 100%. Well, that is all for the team ups. When it comes to the actual like buffs and nerfs, they as usual they just tease generally what's going on. So to fire through these for Vanguards, they say that Penny and Thor are getting their ultimates buffed, which huge. Those are two of the ultimates that we put in. I think that they were the lowest tier that we
Mhm.
were giving ultimates to, because I know you've seen more use for Thor's ultimate, and in our Penny Hero Spotlight we talked about how you can use hers to better effect, but still, like, they're generally not very good, so that's super cool. And then
Yeah, and
oh yeah,
specifically, they mentioned it was to make them have more impact, like
yeah,
damage wise. So getting more kills from those ults would be insane for both of those
yep,
characters.
yep. Yeah, and then I already mentioned Doctor Strange is getting an offensive boost, but my girl Emma and Cap are both getting some nerfs, and I'm assuming probably on the survivability side,
Yeah,
because
probably.
they're dominating right now for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
every time every season they try to touch Emma and it just doesn't do enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah. She's, I mean, and it just goes to show, like, her kit, when they released her, like, her kit was perfect from a just like good all the time standpoint. And it's hard to nerf heroes like that who are good all the time. Much like with Doctor Strange, like,
mhm.
they had a really hard time finding his balance. So it's cool to see them tuning him back up now.
Yeah. Well, on Duelists, Moon Knight, Scarlet Witch, and Blade are getting buffs. Um,
Blade! Do
dude,
it! You're gonna regret it. I'm gonna
I
make you
know, I
regret it
know.
so much.
The other thing I did in the game today, when I was playing to catch up, was get a Blade MVP out of nowhere. Like I
Yes.
don't understand. I don't understand what's going on with Blade. Like
Yeah.
why is he considered like so undertuned? I don't get it. Like
Yeah.
he feels great. So I guess we're gonna feast on Blade this season too.
Right, right.
Uh,
He
it's
feels like what they designed him to be, which is a glass cannon. Which, like, if you're playing him bad, and I said it, I said it at the very beginning. I said I feel like a lot of people are going to be really bad with Blade, and I think that that's what we're seeing. It's just surprising that, like, if the it's got to be more than that. They have to have some other data, but, like, man, I'm excited. I'm
I
excited to
wonder
see.
if I wonder if there's something about him that at higher ranks just doesn't actually work. Because otherwise, like
Hmm.
I think they've totally left characters before that are like their stats are middling, but if you're with them, like you're great, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but if that's not holding up at the higher ranks, then I could see them being like, no, this isn't really a skill issue. This is like he's not really quite there. I don't know. It's so hard because there's going to be such variability like all the way up and down the ladder that it's hard to nail down like is something good or bad or whatever. But Moon Knight and
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch will be cool too. Scarlet Witch I'm excited about getting a buff because that means literally the Arcane Order team up, all three of them are getting something.
Yeah.
I want to see that team up like actually be a meta thing, if for no reason other than just I want to see Scarlet Witch get played like seriously by people. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
um
And
Josiah,
then
do you want to share
I
this one?
I do. Thank you for passing the ball.
Yeah.
And there's more with this too. So Squirrel Girl is getting a range nerf. Nick, you have in here speculating probably damage fall off. I don't freaking care what it is. I am so I'm so sick and tired of just getting absolutely slapped in the face with her nuts, because it is ridiculous. I played a game today. I played 2 games as Magic before Armed and Dangerous, and I got MVP in both of them. But the second game, I took a picture. I meant to post it in here, and I forgot. I got MVP. I had 17 final hits, 17,000 damage, 72% accuracy, like 27 final or 27 like confirmed kills. Anyway, the Squirrel Girl on the enemy team, who I would argue wasn't even very good because I was just like farming kills on her, she had most kills, most damage, and still only had one less final hit. She had 22,000 damage when I had 17,000 as most damage. Like, outside of Squirrel Girl, I had the most damage in the game. Like, she is just. I made a mistake at the beginning of this podcast by kind of saying that like, oh yeah, Squirrel Girl does a lot of damage, but she doesn't, she doesn't confirm the kills and stuff. Like, no, she freaking does. She is too good to be as easy as she is. And I like that they mentioned that too. I thought that was very interesting. They don't list anything specific as far as them getting nerfs, but they show Squirrel Girl, Iron Man, and Cloak and Dagger all together, saying that these heroes have high pick rates and strong performance, which makes me
Lower
think,
ranked, yeah.
yeah. Which makes me, they're just kind of like, they're not saying that they're nerfing Iron Man and Cloak and Dagger, but they're just kind of like listing some of their observations. And I wonder if we will see some, like, she doesn't need a rework, but I wonder if we'll see something to make her like not as easy to play at some point.
Right. Yeah. Well, then also for duelists, we got the Black Panther survivability nerf, which we mentioned, and then there's the shield. So
I'm not excited
whatever.
about this because Gamma Shield.
Yeah. And then I can't.
Yeah, I'm
this.
sorry, Nick.
I can't do it.
Psylocke's burst potential is gonna be nerfed a little bit. So,
Why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah,
I actually don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, they're saying that she's really strong right now, and
She's good.
Yeah,
but can't she be allowed to be good? Like,
yeah, I know the burst potential too for me is like what I wonder what that's going to be. Like, I'm assuming right, but like what about it? Like when I think about Psylocke versus like Black Panther or Magic, like Black Panther and Magic have faster time to kills than Psylocke does. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, hers is dependent
like
on using all of the cooldowns, like basically all of your cooldowns, and you can kill people as fast as them. But then you're left with one dash to get out. Like, that's all you got left.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really heavy commit to get that really quick kill. I just don't understand what's wrong with it. She is sitting at least according to Rivals Meta, she is sitting at like a 52% win rate, Grandmaster and above, which is a lot higher than she is lower. So I guess this might be one of those cases where things end up being more of a problem higher up.
Yeah.
And I'm just not seeing it because I'm not there. But I don't know. I'm going to be looking very closely at Psylocke's data when they give us the what's it called? The
official
hero hot list.
Yeah.
I want to see what they're seeing, because I don't see her played a ton, and like, she's good, but like, someone's got to be a decent dive character that doesn't just get nerfed into the ground every time. Like, she was the one that people weren't complaining about. I still haven't heard people complain about her. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just hurt.
No, I understand, and I mean, I'm scared about a couple things on the Rivals meta list. Like, oh man, Magic's pick rate is going up, like, way up right now. Yeah. I know, right? Well, and I mean, she's now in the top 10 most picked duelists, which is scary at how high of a win rate she has. So I fear that after this, we are going to see some Magic nerfs. But
yeah, well, it seems like this season is like, okay, it's time for me to stop playing Psylocke for a while and start playing a bunch of Magic, because like, one, they're nerfing Psylocke and buffing Magic, and then Magic's not going to survive after this half season. So play her while I can.
I mean, let's hope that her anchor damage doesn't make a huge difference. I guess maybe they are counting on that she won't, her quick combos won't be like kill combos anymore and stuff. I don't know.
I've just never seen them actually make the anchor bonuses mean anything. Like, I think they're going to make it immediately just be evened out with a buff, and I don't know.
Well, finally, speaking of buffs, strategists, we've got another one that's really freaking surprising to me. We've got buffs to the ultimates of Jeff. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then Ultron and Invisible Woman? What? Like, Invisible Woman, who has, I think, one of the best ultimates in the game? Like, that's very weird to me. I don't understand how her ultimate needs any kind of buff. I think that she has one of the best ultimates there is.
I'd have to look at the stats on this about how much healing she gets in it, but I feel like I die, like, playing a lot of Invisible Woman, I feel like I die in my ult, obviously way more than Luna does, but I think way more than Cloak and Dagger does. And so like
Yeah.
there's a lot more times as Invisible Woman where I feel like my ult gets canceled by someone killing me right afterwards. Honestly, if they that probably would cause a lot of problems if they made it where it kept going even if you died. That would be the only big circle die that's like that.
Mm,
But I'm curious what they're going to do on each of these because with Jeff, like I think what they probably want to do is buffs to the support side of it, like the
yeah. Oh
healing your
yeah.
teammate side of it,
Make it
right?
a defensive ult. Yeah.
Um, with Ultron, I think it's just that it's so targeted that like people have a hard time getting the value out of it. Like
Yeah.
unless
Maybe more
they're,
splash.
yeah, I don't know, like make it hit a bigger area or something with the healing, or I don't know. But Invisible Woman will be interesting. I think that's the one that will be the most revealing on like what it is that they mean by these three have weaker ults. But
The only thing that and granted, you've played way more Invisible Woman than me, so my take my opinion with a grain of salt. The only thing that pops out immediately to me is that it's stationary.
mhm.
Whereas the other defensive ults have a little bit more flexibility, like even Rocket's ult, which is also stationary, still like stretches pretty far, and you can set it up, strategically so that it doesn't get shut down or
Yeah, and
whatever.
it's
But
empowering long range characters to contest
right,
something really far away. Even
right,
though
right.
yeah,
Whereas hers, like you can kind of just like whiff it, but
yeah.
yeah. But I've also seen like just like with Luna, I've seen Invisible Woman solo ult on the point and save the game because
Yeah.
she's jumping around and invisible and yeah. So
You know what I think it probably is if you look at these three, like okay, so we're just about to talk about Luna and Loki getting nerfs,
yeah,
and then
oh baby.
they're mentioning at the end that Cloak and Dagger aren't, but they're looking at it for the aforementioned reason that you mentioned about them talking about how she's got a really high um, pick and win rate at low ranks. So I think they're trying to even the strategists out a bit
Mhm.
and maybe make you less reliant on having a pure lifeline at all times, like from an ult perspective at least, because
Yeah,
you still need the healing output. But the ult really locks you into like, okay, well, we got to have Luna or Cloak and Dagger on our team.
yeah,
Like
right.
um, if they buff Invisible Women's and Ultrons and make them more viable as like a pure defensive ult, like that could even that out a bit.
Yeah. Well, speaking of defensive ults being viable, finally, NetEase's favorite girl gets a nerf for the first time ever. um, Gets a nerf, and specifically, it's her ultimate duration. I am very curious to see how deep they go with this because currently we're sitting at 12 seconds, if I remember correctly. I didn't look this up, but I'm pretty sure I know that it's 12 seconds. I wonder, are they going to go to
Okay.
10? Are they going to go to even lower? Like, it's got to be at least 2 seconds less. They've got to
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
10. But I mean, I think this is good for the game. I really like Luna. I just had her here as Spotlight. I play her a lot. But I do think that this is good.
Well, it's good, assuming the server stability stays, because they've definitely coded Luna being unnerfable into the very fabric of how the game works.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have done this a long time ago. So
Right.
hopefully, they figured out how to make the server still run if she has a 10-second ult, but I don't
Well,
know.
see, I think they found another anchor for server stability, and that is nerfing freaking Loki all the time. His sustained damage and healing are getting nerfed. Like, bro, stop.
At least it's
that's
not Adam.
that's not. I know that is true, but like, it's his. That's not the problem. What makes him so good are the runes. Like, that is his thing. He doesn't need a nerf to his damage. He doesn't, like, when I hear sustained healing, like, the runes aren't sustained healing. All this, the way that they nerf his damage and healing together is by nerfing his primary fire. And I'm like, oh no, like, that actually, I don't like that. I don't like that
Yeah.
as a balance for him. So
It feels like
we'll see.
It feels like his primary is going to catch a stray for Mantis's team up with his runes, right? Like
Yeah.
they just made his runes way better, so they can't just nerf the runes in the middle of it.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, well,
They have a they have a really weird thing going on, and I've mentioned this before. This is one of the only areas where I feel that there is a disconnect. Their team ups are just not in sync with the rest of balance in the game. Like it's very odd. Like it
Mhm.
seems like they've made decisions about team like kind of like characters. Like they're not going to switch. Like Angela and Daredevil have been locked in for a year, and the next
Right.
two heroes have been locked in for a year. Like it seems like they do team ups that way too. And I'm like, I know I'm just a casual like gamer saying this. I'm not on the development team. I have no idea how difficult it is to manage this. But like, I feel like you can't do that with team ups because you get really overpowered people just unexpectedly. Like we
Mhm.
have with we had it with Wolverine. I think we're getting it right now with Black Panther and Magic. And
Yeah,
then yeah,
I think that's plausible because the team ups would have a longer development time too. One, because they're abilities that you're creating, but
yeah,
two, because the way that they do it, where they take a team up away and then redistribute those characters either into new team ups or putting them in existing ones that already have an identity, like that's going to take a lot of puzzle piece kind of like timelines and schedules of, okay, well, next season we're going to get rid of this one, so where do we put those two characters or whatever. They probably have that planned out a couple seasons ahead too, like
mhm,
developed alongside the characters and everything. Where balance is way more immediate, right? They're looking at like what was happening in this last season and what's happening like in the upcoming one. So I could see the balance team having to like adjust, you know, to like, shoot, well, here's what just happened and whatever. But it does seem weird that sometimes, and maybe it's for like marketing engagement hype kind of stuff of like pumping up the characters that are getting new team ups to really get people excited about them, but like it does seem to throw a wrench into balance that then they have to clean up.
yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see if we see any kind of changes to that or if it's still just, I mean, it is random enough that like, they're not it's not like you can predict like, oh, what character is going to be really powerful next year at this
Right,
time.
yeah.
So I don't know. I wonder if we'll
Yeah.
see a little bit more flexibility because it's not like it certainly isn't tied in to the season specifically, like except for the new heroes that come out, like
Mhm.
Magic joining Arcane Order and Black Panther joining Gamma Bros. Like that has nothing to do with the like heaven and hell themes.
Right.
So it could like thematically be untethered, but
Yeah, it
yeah.
seems like it's like, okay, this is the season that this team up is coming out, and then they just keep running into instances where, unfortunately, that
Yeah,
character
yeah.
also happens to be really powerful right now,
Right, right,
and then the
right.
balance team has to like freak out and figure out what to do,
Yeah.
and you can't like
Nerf
nerf him into
Wolverine.
the ground and then give him a team up. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that just feels
exactly.
bad. To wrap up, they have some general notes. They make a specific note that Phoenix, Magneto, and Cloak and Dagger might be people you were looking for in buffs or nerfs. And they're saying they're strong and they're picked a lot, and you might expect them to get nerfed, but they're leaving them where they are right now and monitoring them this half season.
Mhm.
Just a cool thing for them to mention, like, hey,
Yeah.
if you're wondering about Cloak and Dagger, like,
Yeah.
we're on it. Um, my assumption is that likely these are characters that they expect will probably see their player win rate adjust, like based on some of the other changes they're making. Like
Mhm.
if Invisible Woman gets an ult buff, that can make Cloak and Dagger less necessary, like we talked about before. Or Doctor Strange and Angela might make Magneto like less the default tank pick.
Right.
Um, so I think these are ones where they're hoping they don't need to touch them directly because they're in good places. It would make sense. Like you don't want to mess with Magneto. He's really well put together. He's just powerful. Like yeah.
It is kind of funny that they do mention that when like when you look at again we don't know how perfectly accurate Rivals meta is, but when you look at Rivals meta, like Magneto is never at any rank the top tank. It's Penny all the way down, and then honestly like Hulk and Captain America. So it is interesting that they call that. Now obviously like Magneto's pick rate is super high, but
Right. And that's what I mean is he is the anchor tank though.
yeah,
Like he
right,
is
right.
the meta tank, which is why he's not the high win rate. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um Yeah.
My last note is I just like that they acknowledge at the end how they're happy that they're seeing some really diverse and creative team comps. They mentioned that like Triple Vanguard made an appearance, which is unusual. Like we haven't seen that be very viable until now. And Triple Strategist is back and is really deadly. You guys in Armed and Dangerous had that. You had Rocket, Loki, Mantis, and that was really hard to deal with. But yeah, I like that they are happy with not seeing 2-2-2 just dominate everything at every level. So that's cool. I think the game is better for it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some podcast
patch notes.
No. 2 minutes on the clock and go.
All right. So Josiah, recently in every outro for the episode, you've been weirdly obsessed with email. And I just wanted to let you know that we've gotten an email this week.
Oh, did we? Dang it.
Yeah.
For all my obsessions, I missed it.
We can get 3 months of Spotify Premium for $0. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's why I missed it.
If you want it, we have an email. My next thing, Sharp, who plays Armed and Dangerous with us every week and is a ridiculous Magic player, saw last
I still
week,
have never experienced this.
Well, he saw last week when I was playing Magic for Armed and Dangerous that I wasn't using a crosshair because a while back I got rid of it so I could aim with her rather than trying to aim the dash with the crosshair, and it was working for me for a little while. But he sent me a code for Magic Crosshair that I've actually seen a lot of people use. It's light blue. It's like the big cross with the circle.
That's what I use. Yeah.
I switched to it and it's been pretty great. It's weird because the circle being big enough for some reason makes you actually able to land the dash by just dashing at the circle, which actually aiming with the crosshair. At least that's what I've been finding.
Wow. Yeah. I do not use it that way. That's for sure. I aim with the left. I put the hero in the center of the left part of the dash.
Okay. I'll try that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll try that
every time.
Sweet. Then I'll repatch note this when I actually know what I'm talking about.
Good.
And then the final one, we forgot to thank Night Gobbler.
Freaking crap, dude. We are not Night Gobbler. We are not worthy.
No, we're not.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Night Gobbler.
Thank you, Night Gobbler.
All right, 2 minutes, go.
That was a beautiful end to your 2 minutes. All right. So this is patch noting vague references throughout this podcast.
The answer is -6, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. Overwatch 2 currently has 43 heroes. Marvel Rivals has 41 heroes. Next season, Rivals will be tied with Overwatch 2, which Overwatch 2, Overwatch 1, which has been out for over a decade. Like, that is insane to think about. Overwatch's hero release is 4 months. Every hero has a 4-month time frame in between each one. Like, that is so insane to think about that Rivals has quadrupled that cadence. Like, I have talked so many times about how unfathomable this pace is, and it really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, just props to the team. Hope y'all are getting treated super well. I hope that you guys get bonuses and all that good stuff. Another team that I hope gets bonuses is that freaking art team with these cinematics. I want to bring it up again. I hope that they are building toward something cinematic within the Marvel Rivals universe. Like, even if it's just freaking a Love, Death, and Robots plug-in episode of like Marvel Rivals or something, because it's so good. And you guys, like, you guys, as if one of them is listening, like, they deserve more credit. And I want to see they do so much storytelling with such short video trailers. Like, I would love to see what they could do with more time.
Nice. All right. Let's talk about matchmaking.
Welcome to Marvel Rivals Matchmaking, a match made in hell or heaven.
Or a lab.
Or a lab. Yeah, so the matchmaking video, not being posted to YouTube is not the only thing that is weird about this whole process, and we are going to try and dissect it for you here today as much as possible. I mentioned this earlier in the episode, but honestly, so Nick and I have not talked about this, so this will be really interesting to go through and kind of hear where some of our opinions go. Yeah. But like I mentioned earlier in this episode, regardless of what we think, like good or bad, I just want to say at the beginning of this how much I respect the developers for posting this long form, very heavily detailed video detailing, like, I mean, we're not peeking behind the curtain. We have stepped behind the curtain and are like sitting down at the table. Obviously, there's still hidden information here, but like what they shared is way more than I ever would have expected them to, and is more than I've ever seen any developer of any game ever share regarding this kind of stuff. So, my main my number one catchphrase for the overall takeaway is engagement optimized matchmaking is dead. Mostly, long live performance optimized matchmaking.
Mostly.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you have something to.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is going to be the beginning of where our opinions probably differ. It was long form, but most of it was spent talking about the, like, how much you get, like how they determine how many points you get from a game that you've played, which is not matchmaking. That's the rank system. They only really talked about matchmaking for like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was actually kind of like, it was more detail than I've ever seen a developer give in like a public facing thing. But it also, I saw a couple people note that like what they included were the things that are like just needed at a base level to have a matchmaking system, but like they didn't include the stuff. They said like, okay, we're simplifying and leaving a few things out, but it's the simplified things that they're leaving out that are the things that people are arguing about. And so it's kind of one of those, like, I'm kind of on the fence about how much we really learned from this. We learned a ton.
Very interesting.
We learned a ton about how you get points. I think that video was super detailed and really, but the last bit about the matchmaking didn't really tell me much, I guess. So I'm excited to see where this discussion goes.
But. Yeah. Wow. Especially after hearing that. Me too. All right. So kicking it off, they start the video essentially by providing a formula. And the main takeaway is rank points in this game depend on two things: base points, which is just winning or losing, and performance points, which is, well, we're going to get into it, your performance in the match. So for context here, most competitive games that I know of, it's just base points. If you look at Overwatch, if you look at Siege, if you look at name your competitive game, League of Legends, Dota, etc., you only get points based on whether you win or lose, and everyone on your team gets the same amount of points. Some games even simplify it to where there's no points. It's just like win 5 games to get to the next rank. And every time you lose one. It's just like classic tug of war. So yeah, there is a balance between that and your performance, and it all scales. It is very complicated and weird how performance is measured, and I know you already mentioned that yeah, we have some different understanding of some of it, so I'm excited to keep moving.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to point out here is um, really the thing I'm going to drive home the entire time in this topic is that, like, what we're trying to get out of them telling us how the thing works is not necessarily just the nuts and bolts, but what the assumptions are that they're making about what they're looking for, right? Because the whole argument about engagement matchmaking or whatever is really about people claiming that they're trying to make you lose as much as you win and lose at specific times and like make
Mhm.
specific games happen so that you never really make enough progress so you're like frustrated but not too frustrated to quit, right? Like it's all about like what is the goal behind the system, not so much just like the nuts and bolts of the system. So the first thing I want to point out here is based on what you were saying. Most competitive games, they're just doing the base points thing. They're not taking into account your individual contribution at all. It's
Yeah.
just about did your team win or lose. So the first thing that I see in this is that one, they're really concerned with making sure that players have a chance to be rewarded for their contribution regardless
Right.
of just if you win or lose. And then also like the idea being that if you are really like a big helpful part of your team, that you're gonna be rewarded for that, not just okay, you get a win and the guy that you carried the entire time gets the same thing that you get.
Yeah.
But that assumption is going to lead to a whole bunch of weird things. So that's why I want to, yeah.
Right. And I mean, just I don't know where else this will fit into the to this topic, but you like most people from at least what I have seen scouring the internet, most people seem to think that though noble on paper, to say, hey, you carried and your teammate sucked, like you get more points and he gets less, that is like again, nice, but most people do not like performance based matchmaking because it leads to a whole lot of problems that we'll get into. So let's just move on and talk about the base points first. So how it works is like I already said, you win, you get points, you lose points. So where it starts to get affected in some different ways is uh, the amount of points that you win or lose. It's not just like a flat you win and you get everyone gets the like both teams get the same amount of points whether they win or lose. It's based on the team's total competitive score. So to sum up, if you win against a team that they are judging from their background metrics is like very
Better than
skilled,
you. Yeah.
yeah, you get more points for winning. And that, extrapolate that out into every other scenario. If you lose against a team who's way better than you, you'll lose less points. If you lose against a team that's worse than you, you'll lose more points, etc. So yeah, even the way they calculate wins and losses is has some interesting relativity to it.
Yeah, and again, like on paper, what this should do, and I think that matchmaking is more to blame than this system. I think you're not seeing. I actually like this system, and I think it's not playing out well because the matchmaking is screwing it up. But in theory, all that this should do, them adding things based on performance, is make it where smurfing should be less viable because people who are smurfing
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be rocketed up the ranks a lot quicker. Um, and people should basically have less grindy um, experiences getting to the rank that they really should belong at. That has not been what the Rivals community has experienced from it.
Yeah,
But I
right.
don't think that's because of this system, because I don't really see a way that this system would create the opposite of
No,
what it's trying to do. I think
not
it's because
really.
of the matchmaking. So, well, yeah, that's part of where we're going. But
Yeah.
so, do we want to talk about the performance points calculation then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so they they do a couple different steps when they're figuring out how many points you should get for your performance. So they normalize all your stats to like per 10 minute. You'll see that on the career page. It'll show you, your healing per 10 minute, your kills per 10 minute, to kind of just give a way that's not like you got a quadruple kill. We're just going to assume you're amazing because it was a 2 minute game.
Yeah.
They have to normalize it. So that kind of gets rid of outliers. And then what they do is they take that and they take it to the average that they have from all of the games of someone playing the same hero at your rank. Um, so this is giving a specific. This is something they do in the background to figure out like how much does this specific hero at this specific rank typically contribute? Like
Right.
the average Scarlet Witch player at bronze, what are they doing? And then they compare you against that average Scarlet Witch player if you're playing
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch. Um, because people switch characters, they have to do this for each character that you play and then take how long you played each one and kind of, average it out so that if you played 10 minutes of Scarlet Witch and you were pretty good at her, but then you played 30 minutes, somehow that you're playing a 40-minute game, you played 30 minutes of Captain America and you were awful at Cap.
Yeah.
They need to make you not win a bunch more points just because you were really good at Scarlet Witch for a little while, right? So there's that. And then they take that and compare it to the rest of your team to determine how much you carried, basically. So
Right.
how everyone's doing relative to how they should be doing for their character, and then they look who is just outperforming what they should be. We're going to give them more points.
Yeah. So a couple of my thoughts are, one, I guess I don't really have much information to go on here because I've never like looked into this, or I've never seen another competitive game like talk about the way they calculate, wins and losses and things like that. Again, just because this performance related points is really unusual, but comparing to like the fact that each hero has different like a different weight is very interesting. And where this gets really tricky to me is what does performance mean? How do you compare when you're looking at two different strategists like Loki or Rocket? And like Loki is always going to have less healing than Rocket is going to have, like on average. Like how do they take that into consideration and then implement another step that they're not listing here
That's what they're
even out
talking
their
about
weight?
here. That's what they're talking about here. They compare you, if you're playing Rocket, against other Rockets, not against Loki. So that the Loki's stats being different have no bearing on what it is. So the idea is if you're the average Rocket and you play as well as the average Rocket, then let's say that puts you at 1.0 because you're the 50 percentile of Rocket and you're against a Loki, and that Loki is also the average Loki. They're going to be at 1.0. And so they're going to look at those as being even if the average Loki only has 10,000 healing and the average Rocket has 25,000 healing. The whole point is to get rid of the difference.
I'm pretty sure that that's not true though, because when I was like digging into this and I was reading from like examples on Reddit, here's what I'm wondering is happening. So I'm just going to keep Loki and Rocket and say that on average Loki has 50% of the healing of Rocket at the end of the game. I don't think that they're equalizing them. I think that they're comparing Loki to other Lokis, yes, and Rockets to other Rockets, but at the end there still is like a heavier weight in their performance tracking, because when I see people post their stats when they're playing with teammates on Reddits, when they have wins, even if they're winning and they have like MVP or something as a character in a role, there are other characters in that role that get like significantly more stats, significantly more points either given or deducted from them at the end of the match.
But that's because the person playing Cloak and Dagger, let's say, Cloak and Dagger is expected to get way more healing because Cloak and Daggers on average get way more healing. So if that person is playing Cloak and Dagger and they're not getting a lot of healing, but the team still won and everything, that person is going to get way less points on Cloak and Dagger. Not because Loki got more healing than them, but because they got less healing than other Cloak and Daggers. Like the entire point is to make it so that
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
comparing different heroes against each other. So their slide that they have here, they go through this and they show an example of Loki and an Invisible Woman. They're in the same game, right?
Hmm.
They're trying to keep it simple. So, well, they're not actually. They're trying to show all the different steps. But let's ignore the part where they're talking about they spend different time on different heroes or whatever. Um, they're saying that on average, let's say Loki gets 1,200 of these performance points. Like the average Loki gets 1,200, and the average
Hmm.
Invisible Woman only gets 1,000. So if you imagine these as different players, like if we were just taking their stats raw and saying Loki's at 1,200 and Invisible Woman's on 1,000, then if you're getting the average player of both of those, Loki would always get more points, and
Hmm.
that's not fair. That doesn't make any sense. So instead, they find the next thing. If they're in Diamond 1, they find the average performance value for Diamond 1 players on those
Yeah, yeah.
heroes.
Right, right, right.
And in this instance, they're saying they're both 1,000 or whatever. So they're saying this guy on Loki played at 1,200, but the average Loki is 1,000. So they're
Yeah, yeah.
saying Loki, he's going to get 1.2 now. And on Invisible Woman, the average is 1,000 and his actual is 1,000. So it's going to be 1,000. The people showing their games and saying like, I don't understand why I got less points than this other person playing this other hero. Like it is going to be different on each hero, but the difference is always going to be how well are you playing that hero compared to everyone else.
Yeah, right, right.
It's going to have to be something, and they're trying to make it like, are you a good Cloak and Dagger rather than is Cloak and Dagger a good healer, right?
Yeah, oh man, this is just too difficult because I can't get the information
Well, that's
quickly
the
enough.
thing.
I'm trying to look,
The
but
people who are
yeah.
complaining don't have information because they're not going to
Well,
show us how much healing does a cloak and dagger typically get. Like that's all internal data. But people are just feeling like I should have more points than that. And their confirmation bias is saying like they must be comparing me against the Loki that has way more healing than I do because I should be getting more points or whatever. But the entire thing that they're telling us is that they've built the entire system around not doing that.
yeah, it just I guess it's just really odd when you have and again, like there's nothing to go off of here other than like circumstantial evidence, but like it is really odd when you have two heroes in the same role that fill the same purpose and one gets like significantly higher stats than the other but gets like less rewarded points. There seems to be something weird that is
Okay.
going on that doesn't make sense. But again,
All right.
like yeah, yeah.
Then let's use an actual example that we've already brought up this episode.
Yeah, yeah.
You were playing Magic, and there was that Squirrel Girl who got 22,000 damage,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you were
yeah.
frustrated that the Squirrel Girl got 5,000 more damage than you when they were doing way less.
Right,
So
right.
Squirrel Girl players are going to have to do 22,000 damage
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
get the same amount of points
For sure.
you get on Magic at 15. Like it, the whole reason they have this system is because heroes do not do the same things.
Right, right.
So like if it's an easier character, you're gonna have to do way more to get the same amount of points.
Yeah. I think what without having like anything else to contribute to like the argument that there's something else going on potentially it's all it does is confirm that I do not like this system. I think that it's I tend to agree with the community that I would rather not have performance be such a significant factor. But
Yeah, I
you know,
I
as
think
we
that this is just way fairer than anything else you could do.
yeah, fairer than just wins and losses.
Yeah, because then you're giving the same amount of points to someone who was AFK and spawn, but your team happened to win,
Hmm. It'll be
or to the person who was playing some character that they're awful with and they were throwing the whole game, but you guys won anyway.
yeah.
Like,
It's just interesting why to see like why like people generally don't think that. Like if you look up on Reddit, for example, like the feedback to this video, and again, the internet being a mob and like having a ton of, you know, very vocal negativity taken into consideration. Like no, there's not one good post. Like not
Yeah.
one person like likes what they're doing with it. And again,
I don't think that's true. I've seen people who think this.
okay.
And
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
be one of those people. So I think the problem that they're going to come up with, no matter what they do and no matter what they say, is people just live off of confirmation bias. Like, if you feel like you should be getting more points for whatever you're doing, you're gonna feel like that no matter what they do. Like,
Right. Yeah, I could see it. Well, let's keep moving on, I think.
this is an interesting conversation for sure.
It is, and I feel like I sound very dumb and I'm very self-conscious of that, but I'm going to say like I understand the math, like I understand the concept for some reason just because of the stuff that I've seen about like people playing the same role and like seeming to play it well, getting different point values and stuff. It just makes me, it puts a conspiracy theory in my head that there's more here, and maybe it is just that people really, I mean, skill inflation is a huge thing, like we know that. And
Yeah.
maybe it really is that they're just not acknowledging that, hey, like, yeah, I felt like we both did good as, you know, Magic and Squirrel Girl, but actually when you compare me to other Magics or Squirrel Girls, whatever, you know, it wasn't a ranked game that I was playing earlier, so I didn't actually see how many points I got, but maybe that's just not true. I think one of the interesting things, though, is how potentially different roles, not through like this point measuring system, but just through like what tends to happen to them in the game, can be calculated. Like if a team is getting rolled, and this, you know, the strategists are constantly getting dived and getting like killed and not able to get heals, like, but the vanguards are able to stay alive and keep doing things, or like, but the DPS is able to, you know, they're not the main focus of the enemy team, like, so they're able to get more damage. So like, sorry, rambling, but like, so DP at the end when they lose, like the strategists are going to lose more points because they got killed more and were doing less healing when getting rolled. Like I think there are still some interesting considerations, I guess.
That's definitely true. I think that's probably where a lot of the complaints come from that are, I think, more valid, is like, but I think people don't typically talk about it as, oh, well, it was because we got rolled, we all did worse than we should on our characters, and then they give us points. I don't like that. Like, people typically like say the whole thing's a conspiracy, where like I think you're right though that sorry, now I'm kind of scattered. I think you're right though that like the dynamics of the game are never going to get captured by any
Right.
sort of formula that you put to it. So like, you know, they're trying to get it they're trying to get rid of as much of the math as they can
Right.
by just comparing characters against other people playing the same characters at the same ranks. But I would be curious to know, they don't mention whether they pool it by whether you won or lost, because that could be a massive difference in
Hmm.
how the points work. If you're only comparing how you did in games where your character lost
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
lose, then that would be very different than if you're comparing against that person who
Just
popped
all
off on
right.
Iron Man, went
Right.
53 and 2. If that's in the same pool as you know, getting rolled
Yeah.
the entire game and you're 0 and 9, like, you're going to look way worse.
Well,
And that happens a lot to strategists.
and here's the other thing, right? Because there are no placement matches, the average performance of a hero in freaking any rank,
It's going to be all over the place.
especially in the lower ranks because of resets and
Yeah.
no placement matches, is going to be all over the place. So that actually just, I just thought about that right now.
No,
Like
that's
that actually just
smart,
clipped a huge point of like how you could see some serious discrepancies, especially in lower ranks, where, you know, you've got the grandmaster who didn't play ranked for a season and has come back
Yeah.
as a silver, and now
Yeah, the last one too would be team comps. Like, if
yeah
you're playing, if they're not factoring, you know, did Namor have the Gamma Squid when it factors in how did you do compared to other Namors? Well, if you're in a game where you're
Right.
rolling the enemy team and
Right.
you have the Gamma Squid, you're going to get a lot more points than you normally would.
Right. Right.
Um, so there's that, there's no way to capture something like a hero shooter into any sort of formula and come out accurate.
Yeah.
The thing that they decided to do here is make sure that you're not comparing against different characters because that's never going to even get close. I think this gets close as
Yeah.
long as, like you just mentioned, as long as the matchmaking is good for the rank that you're at and the pool is realistic. But as soon as you have Smurfs in the pool, it's throwing off
Yeah. Right.
all the
Right.
points. If you're not factoring in losses differently, then getting rolled means that you're going to lose way more points than you would if you lost a close game. Like, and that's not your individual performance necessarily. That's just the how the match went. Like, so there's definitely problems, but I don't think the problem is trying to give people performance
Right.
like
Right.
points. I think the problem is the matchmaking, which is kind of what I was leading with.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The I did have one more thought where like what you with this kind of system, even though I understand that like, two different strategists are equalized by the fact that they're competing against their, only their own hero. You have to trust that and I don't know that I do necessarily. You have to trust that the developers know whether every hero has their own curated like performance tracker or not. You have to trust that they know what the best way is to track that hero's optimal performance.
Mhm.
Because let's use Magic as an example here. Like if the developers think that damage and like kills, not confirms, but like damage and kills is the best way to track Magic, then if you are playing Magic not that way, getting into brawls all the time and just constantly trying to like swing and hit everybody all the time,
Yeah. If you're
and
close
you
range squirrel girl, yeah.
yeah. If you are not playing that magic that way, which I don't think you should, but you're playing her like an assassin where she gets less damage but way more confirmed kills, will you get one of those playstyles is getting punished, right? Because one of those playstyles is getting compared to what they're saying all magics should be playing like. So that's where I think that let's just say that that's what I was trying to get at
Oh yeah.
with my like performance, like something else is going on between characters.
Yeah, and that's an assumption that I hadn't like thought of in my head. I just kind of assumed that they were just tracking raw stats, like just all the stats that they have, just throwing it into a soup
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
character and just saying
maybe.
like, do you have more or less? But even that, like there would be some stats that would be easier to get. But you would think over the course of all games that would kind
Yeah,
of get
hopefully.
mixed up into kind of an average. But
Right.
that is interesting too. Like if it would be interesting to see if they have difference in how they calculate each character. But
Yeah. Well, let's move on and talk about how they weight base points and performance points. So it's not the same at every rank. Basically, how it works is a player the lower rank you are, the more your performance is the higher your performance is weighted in the outcome. So if you're silver and you win, how you performed is going to get you more points than just the fact that you won, and also taking in the calculations of did you win against a team that's more skilled than you, less skilled than you, etc. But as you climb the ranks, it equalizes a little bit more, and starts to shift actually, where the base point value is more than the performance weight value. And this is just super interesting to me because, I mean, regardless of whether this is like good or not, I think this one, if we're gonna have a performance system, I think this one probably makes more sense to me. It's cool to see how much thought is going into every step here. Like to be in the room when they were coming up with this would be insane.
yeah, this makes sense on an intuitive level of like at a lower rank, again, you're trying to get, when you have a system like this, it seems like one of the goals is to get Smurfs and players who are really good
Yeah.
but not ranked yet because you don't have placement matches,
Yeah,
not
right.
ranked yet. like up out of the low ranks as fast as possible. So
Right,
you
right.
increase the performance, you get people climbing fast at the beginning and they feel good, they enjoy rank, they're climbing fast. And then when you're up in Celestial and stuff, you don't want people falling and joining into that top environment constantly. You want it to be more stable, and you're only kicking out people that are losing every game that they're in, and you're
Yeah.
only, boosting people into it if they're consistently winning. So
Right, right.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about that.
But well, I will say, however, boosting the performance point weight in the low ranks again makes it worse if the matchmaking
Right.
is making the performance system not work in the low ranks, which
Yeah.
if 80% of people are in bronze and silver
Yeah.
as they were a few weeks ago, now you got a problem where 80% of the game, including all the Smurfs that are going 53-1, are in that performance pool. It's going to mess that up massively.
Right. And my perceived problem, and I mean part of it is not perceived. You could argue that my problem is just pure happenstance. But my problem has never been that I feel like I'm not climbing when I win, or that I'm losing too much when I lose. It's just that I lose more than I win so much. Like
Yeah.
that is the main thing that like when we talked about ranked in our rivals quarterly, and I said that like this is not this is objective. I have never lost more in any game to my knowledge than I have in Marvel Rivals. Like yeah, that's a more like, again, that's not taking any of this into consideration. That's just matchmaking, which we haven't
Right.
even got to yet.
Yeah, which is again like what makes this such a hard puzzle to figure out with matchmaking of like feeling like you lose way more than you win is that you can see objectively that you do. Like you can look at your stats and know
Yeah.
I do lose way more than I win, which means
Right.
someone has to be winning way more than they lose. But the entire internet's complaining about,
Right, right.
So
Well,
it's
and
one of
that's
those, yeah,
and the crazy thing is like because of this system, so because there is no placement matches, this I think is good. Because even though I'm losing more than I win, I've climbed out of bronze and silver. Like
right,
because when I lose less because my performance pads me, and when I win a lot because my performance pushes me. So like that is, I think, working at least in some sense. It just like no matter what, it doesn't feel good to lose, even if I'm losing less. Like honestly, emotionally, to I think a lot of players, it doesn't like even matter. It's just like losing feels bad.
yeah, yeah. Well, do we want to talk about the actual matchmaking part?
Yeah, I mean, well, so yeah. I think we're ready for that.
Okay. So this is where I felt like they didn't really give us a ton. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like the first thing they mentioned was that they're taking region and server into account,
Yeah, yeah.
and then from there they're trying to find a pool of players who are within similar rank, um,
Yeah.
and they're trying to match stacks with stacks of the same size.
Right. Yeah, that is basically it. But the note that I have here is where to me it starts to get really interesting, and I have go ahead and check philosophy off your bingo card.
Okay.
because because this is where they may not use engagement optimized matchmaking like mathematically, mechanically in their game, but they are with you as a player outside of the actual numbers and nuts and bolts that go into matchmaking. So if it takes too long and they're not able to match you with a team of similar skill and size, the matchmaking parameters expand to include not only different skill sizes, but broader player skill coefficients. So the longer matchmaking takes, the more desperate they get to hold your engagement with the game. And so they will throw you into a more unbalanced match, which is, you know, one match is a drop in the ocean of the entire player base, but when that happens, someone gonna get rolled, most likely. And when that happens, you're going to have all of these things that we've talked about work against the way that you want them to. And this is the only reason that they say that they acknowledge, that's the crazy thing. They acknowledge that this happens, and the only reason why they still keep it in there is because they don't want you to get frustrated with how long matchmaking takes and say, what, we have an internal joke in our friend group. What is this, Overwatch? When we play a multiplayer game and it takes forever to match, because they don't want you to have that experience. They're willing to kind of throw both teams in the blender and say good luck to one of you. So yeah, engagement optimized matchmaking in a way.
Yeah, so this is kind of what it meant by there's not much there, is like what they describe about region and server, stacks of the same size, and keeping people broadly within the same ranks. That's just like every matchmaking system ever. There's nothing unique there.
Mm-hmm.
Even the like matching parameters, like getting looser the longer the search takes, is pretty much everything ever.
Yeah.
The only difference, it seems, is that they are really allergic to long queue times, which we noted when we started playing the first few weeks. We were like, oh my goodness, I've never had a game where I queue instantly every time.
Right.
And it wasn't, we were just like, everyone in the world is playing this, it'll slow down. But then it didn't. Like, it's still 2 seconds all the time. So they kind of lay the blame at this, saying like, oh yeah, like it just, what makes it worse is not necessarily just the rank changes, but the team size. Like if you have a 4 stack, this is why they don't allow 5 stacks, by the way, is because at 5, like whoever that solo person is just absolutely at the mercy of, of matchmaking. But if you have a 4 stack, they're going to try to match you against another 4 stack of a similar rank on the same server. And if they can't find that for very long, then they'll be like, okay, well, maybe we'll do a 3-2-1 against you. Okay, well, all of a sudden, you've got 4 people on comms with maybe a 2 stack also on comms, or maybe 2 randos.
Yeah.
And then you've got 3 people talking, 2 people talking in a separate chat, and then someone who doesn't know anything.
Right.
Like those are going to be massively different in coordination.
Right. Yeah, and they bring this up multiple times throughout the video, where they flatly acknowledge, of course, that like teams really throw a wrench into this, which is one of the reasons why they're lowering the team size moving forward. It's not. I don't think it's this season, actually. I think it's season 5 that they said they're doing it, or
I don't remember.
Yeah, but they're lowering the size of the groups that you can have. Because I think what they're seeing internally is like you having a team is such a significant boost that it gets hard to factor in the player's skill coefficient at all, because you can't measure that. You can't measure how much strategy a team is going to have. There are days where we play with our groups and we're like locked in and calling targets and doing things and kicking butt and taking names. And there's other times where, it's just super casual, and you have teams out there that play together who are both. So you can't just give a handicap to a team and say like, I'm going to lower or I'm going to increase your coefficient when you're playing in a team. Like it's complicated.
Yeah. So, ultimately, like the only thing that they lay the feet of all the matchmaking problems at in the video is just that, when it takes a while, then we start spreading the search out. But you don't often have really long queue times, and it makes me, the thing that they didn't tell us is they didn't tell us, when do they consider it taking a while?
Yeah.
Do they consider it taking a while 3 seconds in? Because that would explain so much if you're getting really unbalanced games almost all the time. Because like a 3-second queue is nothing, but that's pretty average. That's kind of a long one in Rivals. So I don't know if we want to get to what our suggestions would be yet. Um,
So I have one other thing in here that
okay.
I couldn't find it, but this is really interesting. And there was a I remember I can't remember why I read it or why I found it, but there was a paper that was written about technology use in China specifically, and how if something basically to sum up, and trust me because I say so, bro. The study found that specifically with like average young adults in China, if an application on the phone took more than I'm going to put a number out there. This isn't what the paper said, but I don't remember and I couldn't find it. Took more than 3 seconds to do what you wanted it to do, then it would lose popularity like very quickly. So there is this like very fast paced like drive in the like gaming market in China specifically. So I wonder if this is lower than you might think it would be, because obviously it's a development team from China, so they're going to be using at least some of the numbers that they have. The Chinese gaming market is massive. So that would be interesting too, where like you might think like, oh, if I'm waiting 5 minutes, well, I'm never waiting 5 minutes. But like you said, it could be 10 seconds. Like it could be that quick. Because they see
Yeah.
that their primary market falls off after 10 seconds. Like, so who knows?
Yeah, that's interesting because in like at work and stuff, we hear that stat about like 3 seconds is too long for a phone to respond to what you're doing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
people start thinking that it's broken or they just give up on it or whatever.
yeah,
And I've never heard it related to a Chinese study. It's just kind of like general wisdom that gets
yeah,
thrown
yeah,
around. But it would be interesting to see if that like that's
yeah.
apparently that's where that came from. But that is also really specifically mobile. And that would be
Right.
interesting if this is like a weird, this is like one of the weird side effects of it being made by a mobile game company is like they
Right.
have these procedures of like we don't let something take more than this long, and it doesn't really matter for PC players, but here we
Yeah.
are. I mean, honestly, I think that's the thing. They can add placement matches, and they are, which yay! I'm so glad that we got news that they're going to do that.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if they can at least push players closer to where they should be, then when they start expanding the search a little bit further away, they're at least not expanding to that guy who stopped playing last season and should be in
Yeah.
Grandmaster when you're in Bronze, right? That will make it better. I would be really surprised if it didn't. But honestly, it seems like the easier fix is just let ranked queue times go a little bit longer before
Hmm.
you expand the search. Like keep quick play the same, that's fine. We can have the Wild West in quick play.
Yeah.
You already
Yeah.
have bot games in there anyway, so your quick play matchmaking system is doing things other than what you're showing here. But if this is all that's going on in comp, just let us wait a little bit longer. Like I would much rather play good quality games on a 20-second queue than get a 2-second queue into hell. Like,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the last thing that I have about their matchmaking is just something that it is interesting from a matching perspective, but also just it was funny. So in the big example that they give of how it works from region to players and how they split it up based on team size and rank and whatnot, they make a note that when it comes time for roles to fill, there are 3 duelists that insta lock in this scenario, and the third duelist, there's no strategist in the game, and the third duelist insists on sticking with his preferred role instead of switching to a strategist. So they talk about how flexing gets interesting once you get into the game, because when you change roles to a role that you're not necessarily as comfortable with, you're obviously more than likely to lose. And you're more likely to lose. And so flexing is like a huge part of this whole win-loss thing too, because, and this is because there's not going to be roll queue, right? Like they don't want roll queue. They acknowledge, they talk about why they don't want roll queue, which we'll get to as the like closing frequently asked question thing that they do. But part of it is like just like learn to flex, learn to play different roles, and like be willing to. If everybody was more willing to play more roles, we would those of you who do that would win more.
Yeah.
Is essentially what they're saying, which is, you know, it may seem like common knowledge, but it was nice that it was brought up in this video about why people are experiencing losses and wins the way they do.
Yeah, this seems like a subtle confirmation too, that they don't tag you for matchmaking purposes with whatever your like typical role is. Like people had speculated maybe they like don't have rule queue, but like
Yeah.
typically they try to make it so that 2 strategist mains and 2 vanguard mains and 2 duelist mains make it into the game.
Right.
But like what they're showing is that they're trying to get team sizes that are the same. And then whether they do or not, they have a pool of 12 players. And then they decide what teams they go on based on trying to even out the team sizes and then the ranks to like fix the gaps based on the team sizes and everything.
Right.
So that doesn't really leave space except as maybe a third category if you happen to have 2 people of the same rank that you could put on either team, right? Like it seems like it's not really leaving space for them to also say like, oh, and this is a vanguard usually, so we're going to put them on a team that only has 1 vanguard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is up to us to flex. It is up to
Right.
us to handle the roles. Do not leave it to. I'm sure the matchmaking is like giving me another vanguard somewhere. He's just hiding.
Yeah. They not. All right. So, you want to get into the FAQs?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so they kick it off by just explicitly coming out and saying we do not use engagement optimized matchmaking. So that's not the mechanic that they're using. It's not to say that there aren't pieces of it that affect you psychologically, but they're not like built. They haven't built their matchmaking system around keeping, you know, the correct balance of wins and losses for each player.
Right. Yeah. I want to say this because this is bugging me all the time whenever the EOMM conversation comes up or just matchmaking in general. They're never going to convince people to drop this term now that it exists. But it does not matter what their matchmaking is. People are going to say this. There's so many different things that this term can mean. There's the actual thing that it was supposed to mean, which was EA's specific system that they came up with for this. Then people found that NetEase had a similar system that is not called that technically. So even there, they can say we don't have it and still do all sorts of things that are related to it and technically be true. But then beyond that, all matchmaking is optimized around engagement in some sense. Just by the fact that they're trying to get you a balanced game where you have a 50-50 chance of winning, they're not just throwing you in a game with 12 random people. They're matchmaking you specifically. The entire point of matchmaking is to find a team and a game that like is optimized for whatever it is that they want the game to be. And we just assume that usually that it's fair. But like even that is pushing you towards a 50-50 you're supposed to win or lose this game kind of thing. So it's such a I complained about the term AI being mostly a marketing term a few episodes back. It's a very similar thing where it's like this term doesn't really mean anything. Like all matchmaking is going to like try to get you close to people who have the same ping as you or like whatever. Like that's the whole point of the matchmaking. So it's hard to really have that term mean much. So it also kind of means that them saying it we don't use it doesn't really mean much either. So I get why people are still like, yeah, but they really do.
Yeah.
Anyway, random rant.
No, it's true. And yeah. The next thing that they talk about, just summing up, so kind of just pulling from a lot of what we said about teams and matchmaking, the fewer and smaller the teams in the queue, the more balanced the matches. So basically how I like repainting this in my mind is if they created a different rank queue that was solo only, you would probably feel better
Mhm.
in those fights because again, the team element is such a wild card. Are they going to be significantly better because they're in a team? Or are they only going to be a little bit better because they're in a team? Or are they actually going to be worse because they're in a team because they're playing with their friends who are bad, but they're their friends? You know,
Right. Yeah,
like
because you
there's a
also
spectrum.
you also introduced on certain teams a wide rank distribution before the matchmaking is even trying to do that. Like you got your gold friend and your platinum friend and your silver friend, and somehow they're just close enough that you can match together.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
the game like can't put you in a game of all golds. Like it, yeah.
Right, right. Yeah. Um, the next thing was basically what I said. Flexers, people are getting punished on both sides. One, because they're being forced to flex, which means that they're not playing the role that they want to play. And two, then when they do flex, they're bad, and so they lose. So it's a vicious thing that would be solved by roll queue, but roll queue would mess up the game significantly, which is the next point. But my just to reiterate what I've already said, learn to flex ahead of time. If you can't, like, I understand that obviously there's nothing wrong with loving a hero or loving a play style. Like everybody, not everybody is going to be pure flex. That's ridiculous. But like at least get competent with a couple people in every role so that when the time comes when your card is pulled and you have to flex, you don't feel like you're taking a significant handicap in playing a different role. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. The roll queue, no roll queue will be implemented because of course freedom of player choice, which I think is really important in this game, and also this isn't Overwatch 222 or 122 in Overwatch 2. They value the diverse team comps and the gameplay and the strategy and the unique creativity that comes from not being locked into roles. And and yeah, I think that is really important.
Well, and they design around it, right? Like
Yeah,
if they ever decided we're going 2-2-2, they just ruined
yeah,
Ultron,
half the team
Adam.
ups.
Like there's a whole bunch of
Yeah,
characters specifically that are just like you're a third strategist, you're a you're
right,
third
right.
DPS, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. But also, the reason why they do it is because they want to ensure that your engagement is optimized during the matchmaking process.
Boo.
What I mean by that is again, it's not built into the hardware, the software. It's built into you psychologically, where they want you to be able to have the freedom to think that, you're able to do whatever you want to do. And yeah.
Yeah, and then you get frustrated because you can't really do what you want to do because you gotta flex and play something that will help you win.
Right, right. Well, and I didn't write that. I didn't write it down. I should have. But they said roll queues would take longer.
Yeah,
So
they would
that's
too. Yeah.
yeah. That's actually the main reason why I made the EOMM point here is because they're specifically saying we're not implementing roll queue because we want you to stay engaged.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it goes back to what we were saying. Is they're so hard on they want to make it as quick as possible to matchmake that it's gonna ruin the quality of the matchmaking to do it.
Right, right. And sorry, I keep stumbling with this one. I'm forgetting my own notes. They also mention that there's, of course, imbalances due to role pool sizes. There's obviously less people playing Vanguard than there are playing Duelists. So that creates some other issues, especially when like they would have to redesign their whole matchmaking principles, which would be just an insane amount of work.
I remember the old Overwatch 2 minutes to play tank, 12 minutes to play duelist.
Yep, yep. All right. They do also say that they are specifically working on making more interesting vanguards and strategists. But they also say that, of course, this takes time to develop. This is really important, like way more than just like we don't want to see 2 duelists in a row, 3 duelists in a row. Like in a game that refuses roll queue, which I think is a good thing, The only way that you get this system to work well is by having each of the roles feel equally as enticing and interesting. Uh, I am sorry, duelists, but if you want Marvel Rivals to be healthy and successful, you are going to have to fast for a while, because we need people to not like we know Duelist feels the most fun to play for the most people. That's why we have this problem that we have. That's why they specifically use the Duelist as the example who won't flex in their matchmaking example, because that is what we see. So I'm really happy that they do this. It makes me wonder, like, I'm shocked that they didn't have the foresight to like see this going in and didn't try and make it more even like upon launching the game. But I don't know.
Part of the problem is this is just a perennial problem for game design. Is like everything that has ever had a trinity of roles,
Yeah.
whether actually like on purpose or even on accident. In Skyrim, you end up playing a damage dealer because you're on your own. You got to do damage. Like damage
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
the thing that has to be done,
Right.
and like it ends up being the thing that people get excited about on average, like
Right.
psychologically the most. And so
Right.
you have this problem that like no matter how you design your game, you're gonna have way more people who want to play duelists. So then it makes sense to make more duelists because people are gonna be more excited about them, and you get this like it just feeds on itself. And
Yeah.
like you've got the Overwatch problem. They were trying to do something in Overwatch 2 to fix that of like, okay, Vanguard or tank in their case is specifically the thing that the least people are interested in. Let's do something different and make them as powerful as two players, but only have one of them. This could
Yeah.
fix it. You know, you could see a game that would be like a 6-player team, but it's one Vanguard, one strategist, and 4 duelists, and it's designed that way. But like that didn't work. Like people hated it. Like it
Right.
just, yeah,
Right. Right.
it's not a solved problem, I guess, at all. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, to acknowledge that, I still think that it is. I mean, they're bringing this up for a reason, right? Like getting deeper pools of more interesting characters in the other two roles is still going to be a significant thing, because like play,
Yeah.
especially in a game like Marvel Rivals that is based on an extremely popular intellectual property, like who we've got freaking Spider-Man, Iron Man, like so many of the most famous characters are in Duelist, and there's a lot of that too. So
Yeah.
giving people like fun reasons to play, because I get it. The people who don't want to play Doctor Strange don't want to play him because they don't want to hold up a shield all game. That's not how you play him anyway. But like that's the impression that people get.
Right.
People don't want to play Magneto because we've talked about this, because he's kind of boring to play. Like there's a lot more of that, I think, on the Vanguard and Strategist side than the Duelist side. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just difficult because it's built into their responsibilities. Like
I
it's
know.
just
Yeah.
harder to yeah. But
Yeah. And then they talk about wins and loss streaks, and basically they're just saying like, again, there's nothing that they're doing behind the scenes to like manipulate this in any way. Basically, they're just saying like, hey, probability is a thing. Like you're gonna notice when you have loss streaks, because they feel bad. They happen to everybody generally equally. But also, yes, a little bit. You can have some win-loss streaks because matchmaking with teams and things like that. Like it's not gonna be, their matchmaking can't be perfectly balanced, and because of who knows how long the time frame is, but because of the expanding time frame, and like how the rank disparity increases the longer you wait, like you can get rolled by the game kind of on accident sometimes with some of that stuff that happens.
yeah, and I'll say I think there's so much that what they never brought up was what we've been harping on the last few weeks of the 80% of people are below gold 3 is
Yeah.
like none of this system works if everyone is in the same rank pool, because then keeping people to similar ranks doesn't matter. It doesn't mean
Right.
anything. You're already matched against 80% of the players. It doesn't mean anything. And so
Yeah.
like I think that's the thing that they didn't or couldn't or just wouldn't bring up in this is the lack of placement masters. Probably because they weren't ready to announce that they're gonna try it. But I'm really hopeful that placement matches like can help, because this seems like a system that can work well if everyone is spread out. But when everyone gets clumped up, it just forces everyone to it holds everyone clumped up together at the bottom.
Right, right.
And
Yeah, and placement matches also mean, I mean, intrinsically, I don't see. I mean, they didn't flat out say this, but I can't see any way that it wouldn't disappear. That like rank reset disappears too, like dropping in ranks disappears because inherently placement matches take the place of dropping rank. Like you're not going to be a
right,
rank each season. You're going to be placed. You're going to be
right,
nothing.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah. The other thing well, I guess I'll give their last point here. They say we are excited to continue improving with you, and despite all of the frustration around this whole thing, I I believe them when they say this, and I like that goes a long ways. It is a constant meme in the live service gaming world that when developers say like we've heard your complaints and we're taking it seriously, like I just said it that way
yeah,
without even thinking about it because that's how second nature it is to the player base that like that's BS. Like they
right,
don't care. They're not listening. They don't care. They're just going to do what what they want to do for I mean capital for whatever's going to make them the most money with the least amount of effort. I don't feel that way when when these developers are talking about the systems like this, and it's not just a feeling. Like they've proven it time and time again. I mean, what a perfect time, honestly, to be talking about this now that the season 4 reveal stuff has come out. Like we wouldn't have known that they were working on performance matches. Like that paints this whole thing with kind of like a just okay, this is what's happening,
right.
but it's already going to be different the next time we, talk about this whole system because performance matches will be in there. And who knows? The other thing that I probably think needs to happen is that the ranked seasons need to be longer. But anyway, all that to say, the devs have earned a lot of goodwill. And I am excited for the future of competitive, even though I'm not excited about it currently right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one more thing to wrap up the conversation, and then kind of a funny thing. But I this was the one topic that we said a while back they hadn't like immediately acted on after saying, "Hey, we hear you," right? This is like the
Uh-huh.
only instance that they had of that. And then we finally get the matchmaking video. So, okay, it took them a long time to make a matchmaking video, but we finally get it. And then like immediately a week later, we get announced that like, "Hey, we're working on placement matches and it's coming soon." Like
Yeah.
they went back to what they do with literally everything else, which is
Yep.
saying, "Hey, we hear you," and then a week later, here's a solution, right? And in
Yeah.
this case, it's not ready yet, but it's it that's what always gives me confidence with them
Yep.
is now they've even done it with the one thing that they don't normally do it with. But
Right. Yeah.
okay, so takeaway, what's your homework? I saw someone suggest this and I really want to try it and I want to see how it works for people. But it was someone's video going through the whole matchmaking system and talking through it. And then they said at the end that them and their friends were trying to find the exploit in the system because now they've told you exactly how they do matchmaking. So how can you make the bad matchmaking work for you? Their example is basically you have to be in a good situation and then force the thing to like not be able to find you a game immediately so that it starts making worse games, but be on the right side of that, right? So they're
Yeah.
saying it's by location.
Oh my gosh.
So first off, if you're
Yeah.
in a bigger
Just clicked.
queue, if you're in a bigger team size, you have an advantage because they're going to start putting you against smaller team sizes if they have
Yep.
to. So you
Yep.
queue in a team of four. If you have to do this with three, you have to do it with three, but four would be the best. You queue in a team of four, then you check off all the servers except one, so that geographically they have less people to connect you with. So you're only in North Virginia or whatever. Um, And then
North Virginia.
doesn't it say Northern Virginia? Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's Northern Virginia. That's where their
Oh,
server is.
okay. Okay.
Um, so you're on a queue of team of 4, and then you're only in one server. And then someone was saying if you really want to go over the top, every game you can avoid 3 people as a teammate. So every single game, find the worst 3 players on either team and avoid them as a teammate. And that should theoretically, over time, on this smaller server pool, maybe within your rank, get you better teammates for your
Yeah,
2 kills.
that's freaking dirty, but I love it.
Now, of course, there's a YouTube video, so they were trying to show that like it totally works. So they were showing some big win streak that had the player name,
Yeah.
like faded out, so you can't even tell if it was really them. But they were saying it was working for them. I want to try it. I want to get a group of 4 on the server and see if we can
Yeah.
do this.
That would be hilarious. Oh man. Well, matchmaking complicated. Hope it gets better.
Topic long.
Topic long. Sebastian, match our energy, will you?
Hey chat, Sebastian Stan here, armed and dangerous again.
Thank you, Sebastian. I am happy to be here as well. Dude, armed and dangerous. Another great week.
Another great week. How you doing? You doing okay though?
No, I'd like to win again sometime this year. Yeah,
Dude,
I've won 1 out of 4 in 3.5, and I won 0 out of 4 in 3. So
oh no, wait.
I'm 1-7 for season 3.
I thought you guys had it today. I think like something fell right at the very end. Like we were so close. The first round we were literally 99-99 and you guys won. And then second round was, I don't know if we ended 99-99, but it was really close.
It was really close, yeah.
Yeah, and we won.
And then the last one got pretty close too.
Yeah, the last one was also super close, pushed into overtime, like fight for the life, and then we just squeaked it out.
What makes me feel okay is that even though I lose every week, it is always a nail biter right down to the end, except for the 1 week that we did Resource Rebel. That one we got wrecked. But then we played a second game afterwards and won. So like I don't think that like we're inherently like I don't think it's just that you're way better than me. I think
right.
I think I'm holding my own.
Yeah.
We just end up on the wrong side of the coin toss every time.
It's not the matchmaking.
It's engagement-based matchmaking. I'm getting a loss streak. How could I possibly?
Yeah. Because you keep coming back. Oh man, we had some fun anime duels too, where there was a moment. So Nick was Psylocke, I was Magic. There was a moment where we both saw each other and we both dashed anime style right through each other, and we're like, "Whoa, that was cool."
And then I solo ulted you that one time.
Oh my freaking goodness! Yeah. We were fighting, and I'm like, I got him, and he ults and kills me. And I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me!
Yeah, I think that's the round we lost. It's definitely not related.
I saw you got like, I want to say you got like a 3 or 4 piece with your ult one time though, because I was coming back from spawn, and I heard her ult line go off, and then I saw
you're about to do it.
I was about to, but I don't actually. I can't get anywhere close. I'm not like Hanzo where I memorized it. Yuga Hagateki Wakuro. Dang, I still got that. that is correct too. But yeah, I remember hearing the voice line go off, and I'm walking back from spawn, and I just see my teammates' death bubbles pop. And I'm like, dang, Nick just got a wipe.
Yeah, there was one time where everyone was kind of grouped up and it worked.
Yeah.
The other highlight was just we both had AI Emmas.
Oh my gosh.
They were just weirdly aggressive. Like,
yeah,
they just kept walking straight forward, and it kind of worked for mine. It didn't work for yours.
No. I unfortunately died to your AI Emma in a moment of hubris where she choke slammed me and kicked me into the wall, and that was it.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a super fun game. Thanks for everyone for
Yep.
coming out again. And
Looking forward
the
to
Hello
next
Duel
week.
was pretty fun to watch too.
Oh man, yeah, I know. That was I told Sharp was your Hella, and I told him at the end, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like almost all of my deaths were because of you.
Dude, he had 20k damage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was a lot.
He's really good.
All right. Well, let's pick for this week. Do we have anything? We should still do the strategist thing that we've been doing, but do we have anything else we want to do this time? It's the last week of the season. Do we want to like force a mirror match of some kind,
Dang.
or
What if we did gosh, would it be possible to this is probably too much work. Would it be possible to only do the heroes that have released post-launch? To have like a
I can't force the program to only give us those. I should be able to like filter. That's something I should add to this. But we could just like nominate until we find one that's been released and recently, and just force
I
that
don't
one
know if
onto
that
the
would
game.
actually be interesting in any way.
We
I'm
can
just
try
trying to
it.
think
We can try it.
Or we could decide like, hey, we're excluding a role, or like we'll do all one role and just have like a death, just like crazy death ball-y.
Oh,
We should have
man.
talked about this
We
beforehand.
should have talked about this before. I think you know what. Let's do the only like post launch heroes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So we're gonna go until we
All
find
right.
one. So
Here
you
we
get
go.
Ultron.
Sweet. Captain.
Okay, you're playing Ultron. Okay. Nope. 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 This might take a while. And there's no decision making, probably. So okay, I get Ultron.
Oh gosh. All right.
You get
all
the
right. I
thing,
get the thing.
and I get the thing. This is gonna be very likely a mirror match.
Wait.
There's only like a little bit
All
of
right,
room.
Jean Grey.
All right, you get Phoenix, and I get Invisible Woman,
Ooh.
and you get Mr. Fantastic,
Okay.
and I get Blade. I will be
Ooh.
playing Blade.
Nice.
Who is left that this is gonna get longer and harder to find a character every time too. There we go.
Human
You get
Torch.
Human Torch. I get Human Torch. Oh no, I actually
Oh.
do I want Human Torch or Mr. Fantastic? You know what? With the Ultron flying around, let's do Human Torch.
Oh wow. I'm shocked you did that.
Okay.
And
Now,
last but not least,
get Blade.
Blade. Okay. Oh boy. I'm the only strategist and I'm Ultron. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Let's see what my last one is. This is gonna take forever. What even are my options at this point? Phoenix. There we go. Okay. It actually has you winning, which
Wow.
solo Ultron healing. I don't know if I agree with it. But...
Yeah.
So you're rocking the Thing, Jean Grey, Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, Blade, and Ultron, and you were playing Ultron, right? Yeah. And then I've got the Thing, Blade, who I'm playing, Human Torch, Jean Grey, Ultron, Invisible Woman.
Yep.
So we're pretty close. I think
the only post-launch hero is Emma that didn't get picked. I think she's the only
she's
one
not on either
between
team.
us. Yeah.
So
wow.
basically, I have Invisible Woman. You have Mr. Fantastic. That's what this comes down to.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I don't believe the Armed and Dangerous stats this time.
I don't either.
But we'll see. I gotta really not die. I'm gonna have to play super defensively. But all right, well, should be good.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to get someone really good on Phoenix to just shoot you out of the sky. And
no, please.
Yeah. All right,
Well,
cool.
you know what else should be good? The Reddit takes of the week. Whew, well, with a lot of news and a very detailed, complicated, and long main topic, maybe a new record for our main topic. I don't know.
I think so.
Let's wind down with just a couple rival memes. for the main topic that are still connected to this episode. So the first one is by A Wild Tree. And they say it's not all it's cracked up to be. And it's a meme of Fred from Scooby-Doo reaching for the mask of the ghost villain. And the ghost is saying, yeah, I'm a flex player. And he pulls the mask off. And it's actually a Vanguard main under the mask. Farming clout for flexing when he's playing the role he always wanted to play anyway. And then scrolling down through the comments just kind of killed me.
Yeah,
The top comment is Venom sitting very casually in a really out of place photo where he's like in a really nicely put together apartment, chilling on the sofa.
Therapy.
Yeah. And he said, the comment is, I play what the team needs. Good thing every team needs Venom.
My favorite comment is, you main Vanguard because you flex. I main Vanguard because I do not trust any of you with it. You're not the same.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, there's a comment. Hop in, the water's boiling. There's just so many good like picture comments too.
Yeah, there's the doctor from Mass Effect too. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, the Solar. Yeah.
It just says had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong.
Right. Yeah, I like that. So hey, I salute you, Vanguard mains. I know I've kind of, as we acknowledged with our hero spotlight breakdown, I think I only had 2 Vanguards in the mix, and I consider myself a flex. So I guess I need to pick it up because I'm mostly playing.
This would be you, but you'd pull it off, and it would just be Cloak and Dagger and say support main or strategist main. Yeah.
Right. All right, and then our second one, also referring to I guess a little bit of ranked. The only time that you're allowed to trash talk the enemy team or your own team is if you can be clever with it. And this person, Realistic Winner 654, says captures a screenshot. And they say, one of the wildest things I've ever read. And it is a person saying, not even Noah carrying these animals.
That's incredible.
And they're clarifying, he meant his teammates while he was the SVP in the match. I love one of the top comments is me solo tanking in plat. So yeah. trying so hard with 4 duelists and a strategist. And it's just not working.
Oh, that's
There's
great.
another comment down here that says, yes, this is exactly what the English language was made for. So good times. I will allow a good trash talking if you can make me laugh about it. So
yeah, 100%.
Oh, man. Well, thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode. If you are interested in even more of our content, consider joining us over on Instagram at Friends and Rivals, or on X at Friend Rival Pod, or on Discord via the link in the show notes. Join us for next week's Armed and Dangerous on there. If you've got a question you'd like us to answer in our next episode, if you have a question, drop it in our Discord chat or in the comments on Spotify for this episode. Or send us an email. Nick has written a custom line for me that says, I'm Josiah and I like emails. See you in the multiverse.
See ya.